And we're live.
Uh-oh.
It
I'm not
happened.
ready. Turn it off. Joking. Hi,
late,
everyone. Streamworld and YouTube, hello. Is anyone else going to talk?
No.
Hey everybody.
You're doing it.
I don't like it.
This guy.
I'm the GM. I can't be the host too. Like,
You
Come
have
on.
to be. The GM is the host.
hi everyone. Welcome to Roll for Perception. Hashtag RPGD. Links down below. Twitter and all that bullshit. Social
That
media.
enthusiasm.
Shell. Who's next?
Hi
Oh, look,
everyone.
no, I'm happy.
What
to be
he
here.
said, double that, times
Yeah.
3.
Whatever. Look.
Yeah, but
Can you just cancel the stream? It's fine.
that's it.
I reckon let's skip all of the palaver, and I think we should just jump straight into it. It's 8:30 p.m. here in Australian Eastern Standard Time.
Daylight time.
My toddler
Dude.
is asleep like a log. He is so asleep, it's not funny. He's
Look.
super asleep.
Yeah, I'm not
wasn't,
laughing.
was an overdose of cough medicine involved?
No, we just didn't do a midday nap.
Or just straight out scotch.
And we did midday nap, so he's just fucking tired.
Works for grown-ups too. Look,
Hey, look. Back in the day, pulling all-nighters was a pretty easy thing. I struggle to pull an all-day these days. So.
dude, I was sitting at my computer at like 4 o'clock, like.
So was I, but for completely different reasons.
You having an afternoon drink or two?
Oh, I wanted to.
Was it a stress instead of a tired?
It was more of a break this tedium.
Well, look, it's not that different from a tired.
I suppose so.
We're inventing a word. Well, yeah, look. Unless there's anything else, we could jump into just a quick recap, like 30-second to 1 minute recap of last time, and then we can jump straight in if you'll like.
Bracho pinned a guy with his walking stick through the eye. I think that's about all that needs to be said.
Look, that was probably the highlight. Oh, now that and the fear. Jebediah's fear attack ended up being pretty gnarly. I was pretty stoked on that.
That is true.
Peeps.
Speaking of, I think you feared your camera.
Yeah,
Tangible.
I'm looking in. Yeah.
Bro, autofocus can... Gross. It's the worst
Look.
invention.
Well,
Yeah, no. It's the issue is it resets my settings every time
Yeah.
I turn on my computer.
I know your feels, bro. That Logitech software.
Yeah. Software.
God damn it.
Actually, you know what?
Okay.
I'm gonna fuck everyone up here and see what happens.
Oh, God.
no.
No, don't do it. Do these dramatic pans now.
This is actually the best thing ever. I'm kidding. Deal with it.
So smooth, though. Mine moves so, like, it moves really janky when I move mine around.
Action camera.
Mate. This production value,
Get produced, bro.
so produced right now. Even though, like, you're probably just this guy moving in and out of the shot on the actual stream because it's static.
No, it's
You just
following
gotta
him well enough.
Look.
This
Whatever.
banter is champagne quality.
Dude, it's the future of Twitch. Not what we're on for a moment.
Who's got their phone on?
Yeah.
Mate. Banned.
And kick him.
Slash kick. Slash ban.
Savage retweeting me again. Jesus
Bro.
Christ.
They're all over it. They're a good
Yeah.
bunch of blokes.
It's got 15 followers, so I wouldn't worry too
I
much.
thought it was 31. But
So-
look,
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe.
it's something like that.
I will turn my phone down. So it's just on vibration. Okay.
Set it to vibrate and finish
Just the
itself
way
off.
you like it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No grapefruits in this room.
No. This is going to be lacking so much context. Look, people on the internet
Unfortunately.
probably know, but it's quite an old viral video, and the way the
No,
internet
dude,
moves
look,
around
I'm gonna
quickly.
stop you right there.
Grapefruit llama.
IMO, the funniest thing about our grapefruit meta is that we don't explain it.
Yes.
Look, we rely a lot on that meta. Let's be quite frank.
It's pretty good.
It's the only way we make anything funny is just lack of context. That's the punchline. Is that there's no context in most of what we do.
Yeah. Lack of context and lack of content.
Look, lack of meaningful content, maybe. Oh God. All right, look. Are we ready to jump in?
Okay.
I've already jumped.
Look, you make some excellent
Are
points.
we all jumping?
The jump is real.
No, I think Steve's now got funky autofocus going on.
Yeah, I just realised that myself.
I
Yeah.
just thought
Starts.
he's got.
Just start
Really
the
bad.
session. I'll
We all-
fix this myself.
We just all need DSLR webcams which have actual good autofocus, and then we'll be fine.
Mine's pretty good.
I actually turn off autofocus. I just got it manually set.
Look, mate, I don't understand this DSLR meta. Too much D for me.
No, bro.
Yeah,
D
that'll
for
do.
digital. Wow.
That's actually
That's
worryingly.
pretty. That's C920 quality. Those. Like, there was some good detail in that eyeball.
Wait, am I the only one without a C920?
Probably. Yeah.
To
Dude,
be honest,
you're the only one on the face of the planet without a C920.
I've got a spare one by accident.
It's the only
What?
webcam.
How do you have a spare one?
Just
It's a long story, but there's a box C920 in my lounge room. I forgot to return it within the time that it needed to be returned.
sure, mate.
I bought two accidentally on the same weekend because I was that freaking keen. All right, so
But didn't you pay for one? Oh, you paid for both. Ah, so my
Steven,
headphones.
do you want to buy a C920?
why'd you buy two?
Thinking about it. But
Like
Llama,
I said, it's a story for another time. Oh, card.
Okay, so look, here we go. Ready? The executive summary from last time around is that you chumps were asked by Peacekeeper Vincent Chambray, the lead guard guy,
Vincent.
Vincent Chambray, who runs the guard here in Darkvale, asked you guys to go and investigate a hunch that he had. He just didn't have enough time. Why do you have a thesaurus? This is God.
Keep going.
I'm trying, how am I not going to react when someone just rips a thesaurus out of nowhere? Starts reading it on screen.
It's the new viral video. Get the thesaurus your man.
Thesaurus ASMR videos.
Holy shit, that's actually a good idea. I found my new niche.
God damn it! All right.
So Vincent Chambray,
Yeah,
is a friend of ours. He
he
knows
was-
Gerard, right? He's mates
He
with
knows Gerard, and you guys went to see him because you were getting some whispers or some weird rumblings going on in Darkvale from Trevor, who owns the general store. And that all happened a couple episodes ago. Long story short, Vincent had a hunch that the cult, or really the church, I should say, of Cthon, was getting up to some shady business, but because of all these refugees pouring into Darkvale, he just didn't have enough time or resources to go check it out himself or send some official guards. So since Gerard's an old buddy who was kind of getting him and you, Bracho and Gemini into a little bit of into the mix, he asked you to go check out the lake, specifically a hut by the lake to the north of town, because he saw some shady fellows taking some shady. Oh my god.
that is really off-putting.
This is meant to be our dark, grim, gritty campaign.
I'm giving you.
This is Nova Terror quality stuff. here,
Listen,
right
mate.
now.
I'm giving you some drama here.
It's not working.
It's like we haven't got a soundtrack, so I'm
We
giving
should
you
have a
a.
soundtrack.
I'm
though,
giving you a
but-
cam track
My fault.
instead.
I'm the soundtrack GM. Shit, my bad.
But yeah, so essentially he's asked you to check out this hut. You investigated it, did a bit of looking around. It looked kind of dodgy. Bracho noticed some bloodstains and some odd track marks. Jebediah, through a little bit of sheer luck, but also prior knowledge of the arcane arts, found out this hut was warded with like a detection spell, which you guys ended up using to your advantage and triggered after you had located a sufficient hiding spot to essentially set an ambush. Turned out that 3 Chthonic, I guess, initiates or members came to investigate after you triggered the ward. And as they turned up and started looking around, I think it was Bracho who launched the offensive with a tidal wave of wasps that he cast forthwith. And then all of you, a battle ensued, of course. You all did fairly well. Ended up taking one of them, I suppose, hostage or prisoner of war, so temporarily, to find out more, and found out that the church is in fact harvesting blood, and one of their sites is set up here in Darkvale, and they've been nefariously and secretly farming up blood from unassuming residents of Darkvale. Yes, Jebediah.
Sorry. Nefariously?
Nefariously.
Variously?
Same thing. Potato, potato.
Get your thesaurus, Bracho.
I don't think it has.
Well.
Look.
It is
Long
a
story-
writer's thesaurus. So it'll have nefariously in here.
Long story short, yes, the party found out that there was some shady dealings going on. Indeed, the cult was using this hut as one of their like bleeding locations, and you guys found the town drunk who had gone missing days prior, hung
Cletus.
out and left to dry in quite a literal sense in this hut. And further to that, with his last dying breaths, this cultist you captured, in a roundabout way, someone admitted that his comrades may have been responsible for destroying at least part of Bracho's old shaman tribe up to the north. In which
That was pretty devastating.
and following which, of course, Bracho, you did murder him quite promptly and specifically through the eyeball.
Was inspired by a Game of Thrones scene, if you know what I mean. Cough, watermelon cough.
It was on point. Whatever
Dude,
you
don't
did.
spoil it for me. I haven't seen the new season.
I haven't even seen the third season. I'm so behind. So anything you say is probably a spoiler.
You'll know it when it happens.
Yeah?
You'll be like, that's the Bracho scene.
So look, that brings us to present moment, I guess. We talked a little bit off camera with our player feedback and so forth, and I think you guys came to a consensus because essentially now you've got to go back to Vincent, most likely, to let him know what's going on. And I think you had decided you want to take a more discreet route than what you were discussing at the end of last episode. Anyone?
We wanted to be less discreet, more discreet. What was the question?
More discreet, I think. Last time you were discussing like piling up the corpses and dragging them through the town, but we've since spoken, and I think you're thinking of maybe being a little less.
I suggested
conspicuous.
more discreet, and Jebediah agreed.
Yeah, look, Bracho was very emotional and wanted to just like overcook this a little bit and just really highlight, pack some wow. I mean, I'm sure everyone's seen Dead Bodies. It's it's the Grim Dawn universe, but dragging some into this sort of heavily populated, overly populated town, I think that was going to have pack some punch. But
Pretty nasty
yes,
repercussions as well.
I think Gerard and Jeb sort of calmed me down, cooled me down, and said, we'll figure it out. I'm pretty sure that happened last session, and I ended up just all right going along with that and like dragging the dead bodies from around this hut back into the hut so we could lock it up again, so that nobody would stumble across these corpses. And I believe that we salvaged some loot. I would like to get one of the robes.
Yeah, so you guys had two intact sets of robes you could use after the skirmish. The third was, of course, utterly destroyed by the swarm of wasps that you threw at one of the unfortunate victims. So there was those two usable robes. I believe Jebediah found a dagger. Gerard, you had a short sword.
Yep, found a short sword.
Obviously, you found the key for the hut, and then finally, Bracho, I think, took a chthonic, a prayer book, a sermon book from one of their belts.
So if I've got this correctly, I could probably walk into a Chthonic church wearing the robe, holding the scripture book, like just mumbling scriptures out loud, and totally no questions asked. This guy's legit.
I wouldn't say no questions asked.
I would,
Because-
but that's just me.
Oh, look, lucky I'm the GM, hey.
Look, don't these sort of establishments have a dress code?
Yeah, yes and no. Look, the church has been set up to where it's they're at least fronted as like more of a conventional church. So the doors are open and they have probably like daily or weekly sermons or something where the public can actually come and visit and see if it's something that they're into. So you could turn up and try to disguise yourself as one of these missing Chthonics who have come to investigate the goings on, of course.
Okay, so it's a little more subtle than, hey guys, come and check out our evil cult and see if it's the right fit for you.
Yeah, of course. It's more
For
and
eternal
you would have
damnation, inquire within.
You would have seen around town that they're like spruiking some weird scripture, but they're not like outwardly saying, "Hey, come help us murder lots of people and harvest their blood." They're
Just out of interest, and let me know if it's not important. But what do they come across? Like, I mean, to your average man.
It depends on who you are. Really, it depends on who you are. So they come across as a bit of like some potentially strange kind of dudes, right?
Mm.
They're a little bit dark and shady looking, but in desperate times, I mean, they're talking about a god that can offer you a chance at, a better life, or, safety in salvation, or whatever have you. So depending on how desperate you are, this might start to look like a good option to escape the chaos of this mortal realm.
Okay, so maybe not like 100% tinfoil hat?
No, not...
Okay.
There's an air of tinfoil hat, but...
Mm-hmm.
Not entirely. They're a church. They're like, hey, come and pray with us, and you're going to feel a lot better about your life. That's
I kind of...
It sounds like times are dire, right? So there's like people are looking for outs or things.
I kind of pictured them as televangelists without the southern accent.
Look, it's not that far away. And you could, a smart man could probably intuit that the Chthonics have seized this as a bit of an opportunity, seeing Darkvale is in such a state that it's a good chance, to manipulate the situation with people probably feeling a little desperate and a little out of sorts. So, that is that.
Are the Chthonics involved in any sort of charitable acts, like helping the refugees?
It's a good question. I guess they probably view their church, I guess their group is said charity. They're offering themselves as salvation from this chaos, from this desperation that's around them. So you may not have observed anything further than that, like donations or philanthropist, that's a hard word to say, acts. But they're very welcoming and they've got open arms for anyone who's willing to come and listen to the word of Chthon. So yeah. I guess you guys, maybe we come back with a wide shot of you three maybe coming back up from the beach, just taking the path back up, and it's kind of like a wide pan shot, and we kind of see you as almost specks just moving back up the ravine to head back into town. Unless there was anything else you wanted to do before you left, other than Bracha, you put the corpses back into the hut and closed it up, I presume, with the help of your friends. Yeah. Poor old Bracha.
From our friends. Ooh.
So would that be fair enough? You guys are just going to head back up the beach now, and I assume head back to Vincent, or...
I believe we wanted
to
tie this back together.
And if we're gonna stroll up the beach, can I roll for holding hands?
Look, I think you can just ask your party members if they'd be willing. I'm not gonna roll dice on their behalf to decide whether you can hold their hands. Okay. Unless you could roll stealth and see if they're noticed.
I like where your head's at, buddy.
Pro jam, mate.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Did we need to sort out that issue? So we've all decided to go. We're being more subtle.
Yeah.
I think you.
Have we decided on like an exact specific approach?
Well, you've got the spell book, you've got the robes,
and that's our proof.
Sorry, I suppose, and we did discuss as well that Gerard's fairly, buddy with Vincent. So
my word is law.
I wouldn't go that far.
It's not far off.
So unless there's anything else particular you want to do, I don't think you're bringing any limbs or what have you. I think what you've got would probably be enough, unless there's some specific message you're trying to send. So.
Awesome. I'm cool with that. Let's do it.
Cool. Well, that being the case, you would find Vincent pretty much where you left off. He's still floating around his office. After the encounter, it's only like midday, roughly, 1 o'clock. It's early afternoon, so... You head back up there, and he's being a busybody, seeing people through into town, signing papers, giving instructions, and he sees you guys approach.
All right.
So, as we head towards this thing, I would probably, Bracho would definitely say, just usher these, Gerard in first. You can go first.
Yeah. Well, I would have imagined that by the time we got there, I would have been walking pretty purposefully. After having seen Vincent, I would have picked up pace a little bit. to
Okay. And he
to
stands
rush
to
on in.
attention when he sees you coming, and in a bit of a rush, he sort of stops what he's doing. He's probably like halfway through talking to someone on his right, and then he stops and sort of he stands very professionally, I suppose, very upright and meeting your gaze as you head over. So
Yeah. All right. Well, coming up to him, I just would have straight up. We need to talk privately, if possible.
and he furrows his brow and just gives you a slight nod. He says, "To my office," and he leads you to the office where you met earlier in the day.
Is everyone or just Gerard?
Oh,
He motions. He
I would
motions
have
to all of you.
motioned all of you to come in. I wouldn't have left you all out.
Yeah, and Vincent's got no issue with you. You all coming in. So
Can I ask what the surrounding activities like outside this tent?
yeah, so it's towards the northern mouth of the town, the northern entrance. So it's kind of busy. This is where the refugees are mostly coming from. So it's a bit of a hive of activity. It's a bit noisy. There's guard posts there. So there's a bit going on, and it's midday, right? So people like moving back and forth, having lunch breaks. They're doing all that kind of stuff. So anything in particular you were looking for, Bracho? Or was that kind of
Just that's it. That's cool.
yeah, just a bit busy, and there's like a lot of like white noise chatter with people, catching up in the square and that kind of thing. So, yeah. So he gestures you inside, and then closes the thing behind him.
Okay.
And this time he doesn't sit behind his desk. He enters the room and then just starts kind of pacing. And he says, "I take it, you have something to tell me."
Yep. You were right about you were right about the little hut.
And he stops mid pace and kind of turns on his heel to meet your gaze again, and he says, "The Chthonics, they were there."
They were there.
And
They weren't there when we got there, but they showed up.
and he's scratching his chin, and now he's kind of staring behind you into the mid distance, going, "And what did you find? What was in the hut? What was there?"
Cletus, as a start. He was there.
And he's a consummate professional. Like he's a guard of many years, but even in his face, you just see a little like a sign of just the startled look, a bit of shock, even though he's probably dealt with similarly terrible things.
Be friends with Cletus.
No, but he knows
Cletus was the
Cletus
town
as
drunk.
town drunk.
Everyone knows Cletus.
And
It's
yeah,
like seeing
dead?
Barney Gumble strung up and
Yeah.
bleeding,
pretty much.
We'd all be bummed.
Devastatingly.
But a far more depressing version of Barney Gumble.
Oh god, really?
Yeah.
Like he's pretty pathetic.
But Barney's got punchlines and stuff, right? Like
Yes.
this he's the only punchline. He's the punchline of the town. Really, he wasn't a happy man.
Yeah.
And
Anyways.
Vince is kind of just shaking his head, and he asks you, like, just to clarify, he was dead. I take it he was.
Strung up, butchered like a pig, left to bleed.
Bracho leans in and says, "Very dead."
Thank you,
Thank
Bracho.
Thank you for clarifying. Poor man, just down on his luck. His family left him. He had nowhere else to turn. He's just shaking his head. So I guess we have some cleaning up to do. And he's looking at other possessions you've gathered kind of in relatively plain sight. He can see like maybe the cloaks over your shoulder or some such, or
No, I wouldn't have walked.
You've kept
We
them
would.
hidden?
Yeah, I think we would have tried to
Pretty sure they would
bag
have
them
been
up
hidden
or.
in some
Yeah.
way.
And he asks, like, he just clarifies, like, have you left the scene in any kind of mess? And you guys mentioned you've taken the bodies back inside, etc., etc. So that's all good. And yeah, he's kind of just in a bit of
Bracho
shock.
mutilated a corpse,
Yeah. Well, standard fare.
Business as always.
And so he says, so you'd be aware then that you've taken care of those 3 Chthonics as well. So he's just thinking, and he says, the church will be aware soon enough that they're missing, but I suppose we may have a bit of cleaning up to do. This should be sufficient for an arrest warrant. So if you'd wish, you're more than welcome to join me and clean them out.
Get the Windex, baby. Let's do this.
And he's sort of just turning to each of you, like just scanning the room and
Well,
just nodding slightly.
Gerard is the consummate professional who didn't even want to leave the profession yet. He's obviously a very terse nod and nothing more.
Okay. Yeah, so he's just like nodding around the room, and then he starts going behind his he's going to go behind his desk and like quickly sign up some forms, the proper arrest warrant. He's going to try to do it by the book if he can. And he's kind of just getting about that.
So
he's kind of,
Bracho shuffles forward while it looks like there's some bureaucracy happening.
Yeah.
Bracho shuffles forward and he asks. He says, "Who are you going to arrest exactly?"
The cultists, of course. We have proof of murder and conspiracy to murder. He lists off a few other bits and pieces, and he says, "We will purge them from this town. They will leave. We have the guard to send them away." Unless
Bracho sort of nods and like, okay.
And he says, did you have another idea? Or like almost sarcastically, but kind of like just looking up at you with an eyebrow raised.
Yeah, and like mid writing. Bracho just leans back and he's he doesn't have his walking stick anymore, so he's right. Yeah, that's gone. But Bracho leans back and goes,
I don't know if arresting is the first thing that I would do. It seems that the Chthonics have much darker plans afoot.
and Bracho will take a deep breath and
They confessed to me that they murdered my entire village. One of the three cultists who we encountered at the hut talked of requiring a village full of blood for some nefarious purposes.
Solid word.
It is a good word. And so I guess what Bracho's trying to do here is to try and imply that there's much more shit that's going down. Like one or two dead bodies in a hut isn't the peak of it.
So is Bracho doing that to try and get Vincent to be okay with just going in and murdering a whole bunch of occultists, or is he trying to make him see a bigger picture?
You're just trying to say there's a bigger picture.
Okay.
So he's trying to drop that hint like, do you really want to just arrest them based on that, or do you want to see how far this rabbit hole goes?
And he's just, he was mid signing, like putting his signature at the bottom of a warrant, so it's official, sealing it as it were. And he stops and looks up at you and says, "I'm dearly sorry, my friend. I wasn't aware. My condolences to you and your family you must have lost. My first priority is to keep the people of Darkvale safe, but if you feel that their deeds are likely to spread throughout Cairn, or indeed come back to haunt us, I am open to other ideas. I mean, worst comes to worst. If they refuse to come quietly, dead or alive is okay under my authority."
So Bracho thinks for a second and says,
I think we should get closer to the church. There's something terribly wrong with the volume of people they've been murdering, and the claims of why they need to murder that many people was to use the blood for some offerings or sacrifices or something. Bracho says, I think we need to get closer to understand why. And Vincent, maybe there are some other ways we can, help you clear them out of this village, out of your town of Darkvale, but at the same point, at the same time, at the same rate, maybe we can be getting to know them a little better.
And yeah, he's trying to process this information because he's conflicted, right? Because he cares deeply for Darkvale as well. So he says, "If you really wish to try and infiltrate, I won't stand in the way. Though time is of the essence. I can't leave you to your own devices for too long. Eventually, we must flush them out. But if you wish, I can spare you a few hours if you wish to." Invade, as it were, infiltrate and see what else might be going on. But I won't be far behind to issue the orders. So basically, he's willing to give you a bit of time. If your plan is to robe up and try and find out some more information, he'll give you a bit of time before he comes in all guns blazing.
Bracho looks at Jebediah, like obviously thinking about Jebediah in some manner, and doesn't say anything and turns back to Vincent and says, "Give us 3 days."
Wow. Okay.
And it says, "Give us 3 days. Give us 3 days, and I promise you we'll bring you more evidence of greater illegality."
Yeah, because it's not a matter of the fact they've been murdering people. That's fine. It's the fact that the quantity, right? And that's where we really have a problem here, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Because people get murdered every day. But look, I guess what I'm trying to say is what Bracho's trying to do, and I'm happy to make a roll or whatever. I don't know. But Bracho's trying to say, if we get closer to them, we can take a couple of days to maybe find a way to infiltrate or learn more about them, or trying to understand why they want to use all of this blood. Then we can come back to Vincent, who's probably connected to like the Empire's army and stuff like this. Like there's probably a way that he can call in on more forces from out of town and out of all of that. If we came back and we said, look, here's some evidence of a much greater conspiracy. We need to, like, this church popping up is just like the little finger of the insidiousness that exists. Like, we need to cut the head off, and the head isn't in Darkvale, the head is somewhere else. So that's the kind of vibe I want to take. And maybe that means that we get to go on, like, he looked at Jebediah thinking, and this is, I guess, I'm not sure if this is proper RPG etiquette, but he's looking at Jebediah thinking maybe there's a way we could learn more about them from his occultist friends. Like at the same time, maybe there's some ways, I guess it's opening up for like, let us go get some more intel on these guys and see how bad the issue is, and then we'll come back to you in a couple of days.
Okay.
So he said 3, obviously knowing that negotiation and bargaining.
You're starting high. All right. Yeah, you'll definitely need to make a persuade roll, because 3 days of leaving. What's the word I'm looking for? Basically leaving confirmed murderers without, like, not in cuffs. Being free for the next few days doesn't sit well with the Peacekeeper of Darkvale. So. Are you trained in persuade, perchance?
Nope.
Now, bear with me, so as not to be entirely brutal. There is help rolls, but I can't remember if anyone wants to try and help convince Vincent.
I'll get in on that action.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'd like to speak to my contacts.
I'm just trying to confirm that you also need to you need to roll to help. I can't honestly remember. Help roll?
Assist, usually, is the phrase. I'm just pulling up the...
Yeah. Sorry for the delay, everyone.
Right. Cooperative roles. Other characters may assist the acting hero as usual using cooperative roles rules. Page 63.
Here we go. Adds +1 for every success and raise his companions achieved on their own rolls. So if anyone's helping, if anyone agrees with Bracho and wants to help convince him, you can first make a persuade roll to add bonuses to try and add bonus to Bracho's roll.
Okay, so I guess I'll just do that.
Yeah. So just open your character sheet, just click persuasion, and just click through. There'll be no modifiers.
Mm-hmm.
That is a fail. Gerard, are you on board with this plan? Because you can do the same thing.
By the way, you can spend a Benny to re-roll a trait.
I think for the main roll, I don't know if you can do so for cooperative rolls. But if you failed, you could spend a Benny for sure.
Test?
It's for trait tests, I guess. So you could argue for that. But yeah, Gerard. The lawful good guy is struggling.
Bracho looks at Gerard and walks over to him and says, "Look, if they've killed my village, who's to say they're not going to kill the rest of Darkvale? Let's get some evidence on them first and find where the head is. And then we'll sever it."
Yeah.
The head of the snack.
So Gerard was kind of already leaning towards helping out Bracho and trying to persuade, because he'd just seen what he'd seen, and it only took 2 fear spells and a branch through the eye, and he got results. So probably already leaning towards, and that definitely would have helped persuade him even more at the end there. So
Sure.
Just a straight persuasion roll.
Yep, just no modifiers. Just click through the prompts. Oh, there you go. So you've got a +1 on your persuade roll, Bracho. So when you get to the modifiers input, just enter a 1. Target 4. Yep.
Oh.
I'm going to re-roll. I'm going to spend a Benny.
All right, make sure you mark that off.
Where's my Benny stash?
It should be towards the top of your character sheet.
Yeah. Cool. All right, here comes the re-roll.
Yep. Are we producing on the roll screen, by the way?
Already there.
So you take the best of the re-rolls, is that right?
No, you would just take that roll.
Really? I thought you take the if you don't beat it, you take the highest one.
I'm fairly sure. I mean, make the entire roll from scratch if you're firing the blah blah. You can keep spending bennies and re-rolling as long as you like. And yeah, you're right actually. And take the best of your attempts. You're good at this game. So yeah, well, I mean, they're both fails. It's just a slightly lesser fail.
I'll go for the slightly lesser fail, please.
Yes, sure. So yeah, look, you can see the internal struggle. Vincent's just he's sitting there and he's looking up at Gerard, and Gerard's actually kind of maybe just with body language imploring him that this is probably the right move, but just he's so concerned for the people. I mean, even though you're saying more people could die, I mean, even more if we don't get to the bottom of this, he's just got that sort of that what's the right word I'm looking for? He's his view is really short term. It's there's an immediate threat we have to deal with first. So
seeing that struggle, Gerard would probably jump in and say, because he's obviously struggling with the whole 3 days idea.
Yeah.
Gerard would jump in and say, "How about this? Give us a day's head start. We'll do as much as we can. From there, you start your wheels in motion, and we'll keep going on our path and keep you fed with as much detail as we can."
And he's slowly nodding, and he stands up and he's leaning forward on the desk, both palms sort of flat on the desk, and he says, 24 hours. Meet me back here. Do what you will. We'll talk then.
Cool.
Okay. It's not the 3 days, but it's something.
Yeah. So he gives you some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's pretty uncomfortable about it. He's a little bit pissed.
Gerard.
But he's trying to do the best he can.
Yes.
Gerard.
Yes.
Do you understand the concept of haggling?
No, he doesn't. That's right. We'll move on.
I do. But there was no way 2 days was ever going to work.
cool.
You got to remember, Gerard's come from this system. He's grown up in the system. He knows how it works. There's no point.
Yeah.
He just cut to the chase.
Gerard's probably showing some empathy for Vincent right now, basically, because he understands.
Cut through the crap with his rapier.
There's conflict going on here. So yeah, cool. Look, Vincent doesn't really say another word. Like, this doesn't sit well with him. So he leaves you inside the tent. Oh, is it a tent? I think we said it was a building. Whatever.
Like
he leaves
temporary building.
He leaves the structure without saying another word, and just gets back to his work. And he leaves you three. He leaves you three behind. He doesn't want to say anything further. So, but you're left to your own devices now. You can hash this plot. You can go do other things. I don't know. What's the plan? What's your immediate move?
I would, Jeb would like to contact that. Funny enough, contact that we discussed.
Ah, right. You want to go knocking on an old friend's door.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Fair enough. Would you share any information with your party friends about this fella and how it might be helpful?
Mostly, but I may be selective.
Okay. Is there anything else in particular, team? I mean, look, because Bracho might just want to go straight in, I imagine. Like, put a robe on, like, this second and go figure out what's going on. So, to go on...
of decrepitry.
So there's that. I mean, Jeb's got a friend who might be helpful, who lives in town, that you could go speak to. Bracho, Gerard, I mean, what are you guys thinking? Did you want to hatch the plan straight away, get some rest, go to the shops? Maybe Gerard knows other people.
Considering we've only got 24 hours, I don't think there's really time to rest. Gerard would be all for trying to get as far into this as possible very, very quickly.
Sure.
So,
and look, it may be a good chance as well, considering they're probably expecting friends to return. So
yeah,
that could be an option too. Bracho, what's going through Bracho's mind right now? You've got the all clear, albeit a shorter all clear. You look very deep in thought right now.
Yeah, I think Bracho would want to tag along with Jeb. If Jeb was going to go find some occult style contacts and things like that, because obviously Bracho dabbles in the realms of magic, and has an interest in it all. So that's all cool.
Yep.
But also I think he has a much keener curiosity at the moment around trying to find somehow how their Chthonic church is connected to other parts of Cairn.
Yeah, of course.
And just like trying to figure out, like, are there any other villages? Are there any other cities? Are there any other towns where the Chthonics are active? Is it known? Whatever. Somehow. So whether that would be through, I don't know if there's like some sort of newspaper service, or if he's, or a library. I don't know, but he's got knowledge, smarts, right? So because he's an old guy, he's been around Cairn a few times.
Yep.
So I'm happy to tackle that, but I guess what I'm trying to find is like cool to go have a chat with one of these other characters, but also curious to know more about the Chthonics Church reach.
Yeah, totally. I mean, off the top of my head, there's a few ways you could possibly do that. I mean, needless to say, you've got a whole bunch of refugees that are coming through town from all reaches. So perhaps they've seen or heard similar stories from wherever they've come. So I mean, talking to the people might be an option.
Yeah.
To be honest, I can't think of much else right this very second, but I'm sure we'll come up with something. But maybe we'll head to.
But I'm happy to put that on the back burner for like later in the session.
Yeah, of course. So, Jeb, have you revealed much about this friend of yours? His name's Everett, by the way. Everett, the old occultist buddy, which I don't know how much you've told to your crew about, but I assume enough to persuade them that he's worth seeing given the current investigation and circumstances.
Look, I imagine I would have told them sweet FA and just like said I got a contact and disappeared in a cloud of smoke. If Bracho's going to tag along, I'm going to try my best to make sure you wait outside. Sorry, buddy.
All right, so you guys...
This is secretive stuff. This is like me giving away the secrets of the Magicians Union.
Like the shadiness of it is all cool. Bracho's totally down with that. Yeah, I don't need to know the truth. I know that the person that we're after is like, that's who we're. I don't care who it is.
That's good. You're a guy.
And you're coming along too, Gerard?
Yeah, well, he doesn't want to lose sight of these two.
Fair enough. Cool. So, I mean, I don't know the last time you would have seen Everett, but you still remember where he lives,
Who
more or
came
less.
up with the name Everett, by the way?
Me.
Any particular reason?
Maybe, but I'm not going to tell you.
Wait, so we're going to go see Gerard's friend first. Is that what's happening?
No, it's Jeb's. It's Jeb's contact Everett.
Yeah, Jeb's, not mine.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. My bad.
Despite Everett being the name of my Grim Dawn character on my Let's Play.
But look, it's all saucy. So you have to head out of the main town. You know, like the real busy like metropolis, if you can call it, if a village could have a metropolis. So, you know, where the housing gets a little more sparse. Because Everett's dealings, Everett's business is not of the purest variety. You know, the house is well kept enough. It doesn't look very big. It's just like a boarded wooden house with a sloped roof. Very nondescript. It's worn down, like the paint's chipping off and the door's pretty like worn out. Grass is quite long on the outside. There's dead plants. You know, it looks like a guy who doesn't really care too much about the dwelling that he's in. And yeah, you approach. There's not many. There's like one or two people just walking around, like in their gardens or two from their houses. It's like the quiet suburban part of Darkvale, so to speak. So yeah, the three of you approach. I suppose Jeb in front with Bracho and Gerard in tow. I guess you're just gonna rap on the door.
Yeah, I'm gonna knock on that door, baby.
Cool.
So animals?
Oh, like birds and stuff, I suppose. Not really much going on. There might be like a pet dog in the backyard somewhere that you can hear. You know, in the background somewhere, barking at you as you walk past from behind the fence, giving you the shits.
Anyone have a
walks
pet
over
turkey?
Bracho walks over to the fence where the dog's barking and just like waves his hand like this, and the dog starts going.
Roll persuade. No, I'm joking. Yeah, he would totally calm down. Bracho's so in tune with nature that like, the dog just kind of sits and kind of starts rubbing up against the fence to try to get closer to you. Know, that whole.
So you're a Grim Dawn version of Crocodile Dundee.
Not too far away.
I was thinking more Steve Irwin, but that's alright.
So you get the on the door. Hey, who's doing that? Get him out of here.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, so there's this on the door, and you hear like rustling and stuff inside once you've knocked. That's so distracting.
I'm trying to make it smaller, dog.
So yeah, there's rustling and bustling, and there's a bit of noise, and like you hear a chair getting knocked over at one point. There's some sort of commotion going on, and then there's this little piece, like this little wooden piece in the middle of the door that kind of slides across, and you get this eyeball kind of poking through. And he stares, and then Jeb's eye comes through the other side.
Yeah,
and then,
I'm matching him eye for eye. It's a handshake.
And then, like, it slams back. It slides shut again while you're still close, and probably gives you a little bit of a shock. And then the door opens, but then it only opens like this much inwards, and then there's a chain that's stopping it from opening any further.
He knows.
And this kind of, you get like this, like the center bit of a face poking through, like this nose. And he goes, Jeb, what are you doing here? I haven't seen you in how long since you last visited Darkvale?
4 years.
It's been at least 4 years. My goodness, what are you doing here?
I'd like to remind everyone that Jeb actually is vaguely southernish.
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
Now you've got to do it.
Now I gotta fucking do it. I need information.
What kind of information? You know what I know, really.
What do you know about the Chthonics?
And you just, with the eyes you can see widen slightly.
Yeah.
And without saying another word, the door slams in your face, and then you hear like the chain loosening, and then you hear like whoosh, whoosh, and then like his deadlock unpops as well. There's like 5 or 6 distinct noises of locks unlocking.
That's what I like to see.
And he opens it sort of enough for one human at a time to get in, but then he says, "Who are your friends?"
Lackeys. You don't need to worry about them.
Okay, I mean, they I guess they can come in, but I don't have much for them.
What do you mean by
Like, as in, like,
Does he not have a
ready
pound?
to entertain guests. Like, there's not much in the house.
Is he out of tea? Okay.
Exactly. That's pretty like that's the insinuation.
Okay, I gotcha.
I haven't entertained in a while.
I'm not sure if I want to let these guys in. Okay. Okay.
From a mechanical perspective, they
let's
must be
do
able to
this.
help you get information.
Yeah. Yeah. As much as it
Bracho,
pains.
Bracho leans into his robe and pulls out one of his pre-rolled herbals and waves it at this Everett character.
Okay.
If it helps, I don't need entertaining, but I can perhaps entertain you.
If he tried to snatch it from your hand, would you try and move?
Nope.
Okay.
Not at all.
So he eyeballs it for like 3 or 4 seconds and just goes and just nabs it out of your hand, and then he opens the door the rest of the way.
Mom, you're
little-
embarrassing me in front of my friends.
So yeah, he nabs it and like tucks it behind his ear, and yeah, opens the door up so you can all come in.
As Gerard walks through the door, he's just going, "Why am I here?"
Cool. So I mean, you walk in.
I can just imagine Gerard's like looking at the inside of this hut, like
Yeah,
pretty much,
Not
yeah.
wanting to.
Hands
touch
haven't left
anything.
his swords yet.
This is someone, Gerard. This is someone you probably would have considered arresting back in your active days of active duty.
Somebody I'm considering arresting now.
Citizens arrest. So yeah, you walk
he's just
in.
you just witnessed like an old dude from the forest drug dealing.
Pretty much. Look, it's of questionable legality, shall we say? So you enter the room. It's kind of, the house is almost like one big room, and there's probably then like a bedroom tucked away in a corner somewhere. It's not huge.
I feel like it's Hagrid's hut or something like that.
Yeah, except not as inviting. So like the windows are all
Christ,
drawn.
I wouldn't want to be in Hagrid's hut. Jesus Christ.
It's not quite. Look, I'm going to describe it for you.
Okay, do it.
So the windows are all drawn shut, like heavy velvet curtains that have seen better days, all just accruing dust. Everything's shut. There's this table in the middle of the room just covered in books and notes and diagrams and stuff. And every wall has shelving around it just loaded with books. And there's like piles, I don't even know what, like there's melted wax candles like in several corners. And instead of cleaning up, he just sticks new candles in, and there's like just these big mountains of wax that have formed, and they're all lit. They're all candle lit around, and there's a couple of candelabras hanging as well. And the chairs are covered. It looks like someone who all he does is research and read. Like there's nothing else going on in here. And there's piles of books covered in dust, and there's other books which he's obviously reading that have less dust on them. So you could try find a place to sit. There's possibly one or two spare chairs, or you could move some books to sit down and try and make yourselves comfortable. And Everett kind of just he gets in, he tries to busy himself, he tries to make the place look respectable by like straightening a stack of books here and there, and he gives up after a while, and he sits down in an armchair and lights the cigarette thingy that Bracho gave him.
Bracho takes like a slow walk around the edge, like around the wall and around all the desks and stuff, with his arms just gently, like his hands just gently clasped at the small of his back, just very slowly sort of looking at all of these random scrollings and smiling and nodding as he walks around. Yes.
Yeah. And you see a variety of books of paperback, leather bound, all that sort of stuff. Some have glyphs down the spine that you don't really recognize. Others are like history books of various empires and settlements and histories of Caen and what have you. So there's a whole bunch of stuff on the walls. And Everett sits down and he starts smoking his thing. And it's meant to be like a relaxant, right? Bracho, it's kind of like this kind of drug will bring you down just a little bit.
It's kind of like a chill thing. It's like it calms the nerves.
You notice it has almost no effect on Everett. So he takes a couple of drags and is like, "Man, this is really good stuff. Thanks, I appreciate it." Yeah. And he points with the cigarette at you, like asking your name. Your name?
Bracho.
Bracho. You gotta tell me where you got this stuff. It's really quite good. And who's the formal guy over there? Who's fancy pants?
Never you mind.
And he just gives you a quick glance, but doesn't seem to take any real heed to that. And turns to Jebediah.
At the end of the day, Gerard knows he's never going to be back. He's never going to see this guy again. He's here for 5 minutes or as long as he needs to be, and that's it. So,
Listen, Gerard. He doesn't like our types.
Gerard. Nice. So what do you want, Jeb?
I need information. I really hate this voice, by the way. I need information on the chthonics.
You can retcon it, if you so wish.
I've committed now.
The chthonics. What the church guys? They seem okay enough. Like, there's something bothering you about them?
What's this guy's name again? Everett.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna bang my fist on some sort of dusty surface. Dust flying everywhere. don't bullshit me, Everett. What are they into?
And he's looking a bit panicked. Like this antisocial guy. He'd be like, no, honestly, I don't. Is there something you know that I don't?
I'm probing from the wrong angle here.
That's the GM dropping a hint. Is there something you know about the chthonics that I don't? That you've recently discovered?
Bracho just sort of like stops looking at the things on the walls and stuff and turns to Jeb and just raises an eyebrow.
It seems the chthonics need large quantities of blood.
Blood, whoa.
Whole villages worth. You wouldn't have to know anything about that, would you?
Not off the top of my head. Usually, I mean, our kind don't really need that kind of thing to cast a spell or to summon or. And he's a bit stumped by this, and then he starts sort of filtering through. He's going through a bunch of bookshelves, and he's trying to find some sort of tome or book that might tell him something that.
All right. I'm gonna just try and get his stop him.
Okay.
Like calm him down. Like, look at me. Come here. Look at me. Ev. Let's talk hypothetically here.
Okay.
Think. What could they be doing with that much blood?
I don't know the full history. I mean, sorry, just got a particular DM that made me laugh.
All right.
Look, I'm not sure of the entire history. I mean, really ancient, powerful spells might call for blood, but look, even in my research, I haven't got that deep yet. But look, I can tell you, maybe. There's a book. I'm thinking of a book. There's one. I haven't read it all yet. Just, can I just look for it? And he's off like a shot. And he's going through the shelves and all the stacks, and eventually he locates like this really massive, thick tome. And it looks really worn, really old. It was leather bound at one point, but it's gone all like dry and crusty, and it's peeling. He's just digging through. He's probably like dog-eared a few of the pages of interest that he wanted to come back to, and then he is going to make it a little interesting. What would he be doing? He'd be investigating, I guess, but he'd be very good at it, I would say.
Be.
But look, he's under a little bit of duress, but that's fine. So, what's his name again? Everett. Let's call it a study time. Cool. Everett makes a study test quite successfully. So he's flicking through the book. He's kind of taken it back to the table and plonked it down, and there's this like just crazy tidal wave of dust. And he's flicking through, and he reads a bit and then keeps flicking through. And it probably takes him 10, 15 minutes, and you guys are just kind of bored and waiting for him to find what he's the right page, and then he like suddenly points to a particular point in the book, and he's kind of like reading out loud, but he's speed reading this thing, right? And he's just slowly nodding, and I was right. The only time anyone's ever needed that much blood. It's ancient rituals, ancient summoning rituals, and we're not talking an eldritch hound. We're not talking a void fiend. We're talking cataclysm.
Elaborate.
I can't translate the full thing here, but
Okay, so before that happens, does Bracho know of any historical cataclysms that have occurred in the past or anything like that?
shit, that even stretches my lore knowledge.
Make it up.
Thanks.
It doesn't have to be like as the biggest cataclysm that we know might be coming, cough, Grim Dawn, cough. But is there anything that's... Because he's an old dude, he's got knowledge of Can, and he's got a killer spellcasting knowledge as well.
Yep.
I'm just wondering if there's a way that he can tie the word cataclysm to anything of Can's history.
Yeah. You can roll. You can certainly roll your Can history or Can knowledge. It's kind of like a general, vague overview knowledge of the land. But if you roll well enough, you might recall something of relevance for sure. I don't know how much more information.
5.
Yeah. So
basically, he just wants to know if he can tie that what Ev's just said to anything that he knows, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it certainly rings a bell. Like you're probably more recalling like fairy tales or like myths and legend kind of level stuff.
Yeah, perfect.
But it's eerily similar to what he's describing, right? Like some children's nursery rhyme that kind of weirdly matches what Everett's reading out.
Could I narrative a little bit here when he says some sort of cataclysm, and Bracho like shuffles forward a little bit and goes and like sort of shock inhale like you mean like the shadow from beyond?
And he looks at you and he looks back to the book, and well, it doesn't say that here specifically, but yeah, something alternate plane, blood sacrifice.
I remember a song we used to sing the kids to make sure that they didn't stay out past nighttime in the village days.
And he rolled an 8, so he's rolled with a raise, so he'd probably have enough to go. And he reads and he turns another page and he goes, there's a name here too. Loghorian.
How do you spell that?
It's very complicated. I think it's like that.
Yeah, that's right.
And look, if you played the game before, you'll know that name, but we're prequels, so no metagaming. Back off.
This guy.
And yeah, so he's found that there's some sort of ritual, something, massive blood sacrifice, and the name, like it's a proper noun, Loghorian, that's in the text as well, like associated with this. Like it's not even like it's not a spell term; it's like a historical sort of thing, more than the specifics on how to do this.
Would Jet know what it is?
Bracho just whispers under his breath, "The bane of Can."
So mysterious.
Alright, no, okay. Would Jeb know what Loghorian is? Because I sure as hell don't.
The odds, like, Everett's a massive bookworm, right? So, like, he's taken the time to study, and
Oh,
Yeah? Looks like we just
We've
lost Kluger.
Kluger.
we've lost the Kluger.
The Grim
DM
Master.
down, DM down.
Well, I guess would now be a good time for a break.
Yeah, let's take
Give him time to come back.
let's take a couple of minute break, loo break. I got to refresh myself with a beverage and things like that. So
Sounds
we'll
good.
be right back, Stream World. Probably no more than a couple of minutes. So stick around.
Sounds good.
We muted.
And we're back, everyone. Sorry about that impromptu break, but it was going to happen anyway, so...
Look, it was a pretty good cliffhanger anyway. It just happened in less than ideal terms.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So yeah. So boom. Yeah, Everett's flicked through this book and he's had a good old read and he's figured out that, look, they're after something big. The cult, the church, the evil bastards in Cthon. They got big. Look, they're planning big. It's that much is clear, at least from the text you found thus far. So yeah, what's just I guess we pan back in. Just Everett's here, just leaning over this book, probably sweating a little more than he should be because he's realizing the implications of what this is, alongside the three of you. So,
Yeah. What does it say in there about Larkarian?
It doesn't make further mention of that. Just big evil things, basically. If you leave it with me, I could maybe figure out some more, but it's going to take a lot more research to get any deeper. And look, we might even need to get into the behind closed doors. But I mean, these guys sound dangerous. You might not want to do that.
Oh, I don't know about that.
It's such a southern thing to say.
So is there any other line of questioning or something big and bad's going to happen, but yeah, even Everett's resources are pretty strained when it comes to something of this magnitude and such ancient magic. So he can try to find out more, but
I'm fairly satisfied. I would like him to continue researching and be our essentially our awkward nerd back at base.
Yeah. You've kind of got that happening now.
Who probably, as movie tropes dictate, will probably die towards the final act of the film.
Not necessarily. I'm pretty sure Giles still existed for a long time.
Giles.
Is that his name? The librarian from Buffy?
Oh, yeah, he was there for
I've
ages.
Never even seen a Buffy.
It's Sarah Miguel.
I'm thinking
Sarah Michelle
I'm
Gellar when
thinking
she was really hot.
Wow.
Excuse me.
How is that making me feel old? Talking
Yeah?
about Buffy. I ain't never even seen a Buffy.
Who's
Who's old
anyone
now?
seen-
A Buffy.
Has anyone seen the movie adaptation of Constantine?
Mm-mm.
Yes.
I'm thinking specifically B-Man. This guy, am I right? This guy is B-Man.
Does B-Man die?
B-Man does that. I'm not telling you how to GM here. I'm not telling you to kill this guy off. I'm just...
Look, just bring
I'm
him
just
with you
saying.
and everything will be fine. Yeah, he'll be safely under your protection.
Can we do
No,
that?
look, he won't come along.
Okay.
Probably. But yeah, look, he's kind of had enough of this book for now. This is nightmare material, even for him. So he closes the book and pushes his greasy hair back and more nervous ticks and looks for a glass of water, which he can't find all too quickly.
Cool. So while he's fumbling around, I think Bracho would turn to Jebediah and Gerard and sort of say, just for some inter-character conversation, and say, it looks he's like, ancient magics that's beyond the realm of the usual. This is highly irregular. If the Chthonics are on that track,
Yeah, so just to fill in any sort of gaps, I suppose, in what you found out, the two main unusual things here, one is the sheer size of what's implied by the book. This isn't a standard, for example, Jebediah can summon a raven, and that's occultist magic. That's not too strange for an occultist to summon regular sized creatures. That just takes sort of your magical aura and you're able to do such things. So that's the second unusual thing, is that there's this blood that they're collecting is some sort of conduit or whatever have you. You don't know the specifics, but something about it is required, whereas normally someone like Jebediah or Everett just with the spell tome and the correct knowledge and arcane attunement, can summon regular sized animals like from other dimensions without too much hassle. Just to like fill in any like mechanical misunderstandings. But yeah, this is still like really weird and ancient, and no one's really ever tried to do this or needed to, besides the bad guys.
So Bracho leans in again, and he's basically saying, you know, the Chthonics are up to something pretty terrible. How far, like how long they've got left to achieve their ends, I'm not sure, but I think we need to stop them.
Well, if you knew how much blood they had, I mean, we could estimate from there. But I mean, this sounds like if they just started, it's going to be months, years. It's going to be. They need a lot of people.
Who's to say that they've just started?
We don't know. That's what I mean. Gods, I mean.
By Dreeg.
Yeah. By the will of Bismiel.
Oh, good old Bismiel.
Who else can we talk to that's gonna, you know, let's go talk to the refugees. Let's go find out if the Chthonics have been operating in other parts of the realm.
Does Dark Veil have any sort of library, for lack of a better word, basically? Just a store of things where this may or may not come up in?
You're going to get very, very vanilla information, most likely from the library.
We need the restricted section. Like, not only the restricted section at Hogwarts, we need, like, the headmaster's secret library. Everett
is the secret library, right? Like, he might have the text you want if you want more information, but it's not on hand. Like, it's going to be very clean and clear cut, the library. You know, like children's books and you know how to topiary your garden and I don't know, whatever these people want to do.
That's what I figured, but I thought I'd ask.
Yeah.
Ooh, Bracho leans into Gerard and says, "With all of your friends, would you know how to uncover the history of particular individuals? As in, you know, let's say there's a leader of the Church of Chthonics in Darkvale. Surely they've spent some part of their life in other parts of the realm. Is there not a way that we can try and learn about their history?"
Yeah, we'll just dig up the records of the last Darkvale census. We'll be good to go.
I guess I'm curious if Gerard's got contacts in other parts of the realm. Like, should we go to Homestead or Fort Icon? I don't know. Like, I'm just looking at the map. Is there? Should we go somewhere else and try and figure out who, like, where the head of the Chthon Church in Darkvale has spent time past or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, even from within here, that's an interesting line of thought. I mean, there's almost not a census going on right now, but I mean, there's
everyone's papers are being
taken. Yeah. So look, Gerard might be buddy with someone well enough to try and find anomalies in the records, but I mean, it'll take a little bit of time to dig through and maybe find anything of significance. But that's a possibility.
I think it warrants checking out the Darkvale chapter of the Church of Chthon, because, I mean, what are the chances that it's like headquarters? Not likely. So, infiltrate.
If this is character talk,
find out.
If this is like sort of like simulating character talk, you know, it would make sense that a chapter would pop up where there is opportunity, where there is an influx of humans and an influx of refugees and people. Like, we can like just sneak a couple off the back and Robert's your father's brother. Who's gonna care? You know, they're running from war somewhere up north or something. So
totally scoop up the town drunk and bleed him dry.
That's just the first. We're gonna go after the refugees next.
Yeah, dog.
I reckon.
Go on, finish your thought.
I was gonna say the head of the Chthonics Church is Malcolm Turnbull. No, stop. Llama. No politics.
I enjoyed it, but
okay. All right. Go on. No, I was saying silly shit.
Oh, okay. I forgot what I was going to say. So never mind.
No.
You're going to visit this chapter, assuming it's not like the head chapter of the church.
Yeah, I mean,
your line of
probably
reasoning?
not.
Probably not. So yeah, you've got a lot of options to pursue following your meeting here. You've got some decent information, and Everett will try help you out further. So, is there anything else you want to know from him, or are you ready to part ways?
I think we're good.
Although, maybe as you're leaving, maybe the three of you are leaving, and Jeb, you're like the last one out, and Everett he grabs you by the shoulder and pulls you back, and he goes, and he's whispering really conspiratorially. He's like, Jeb, while you're here, would there be any chance of a little help while you're out and about?
Go on.
So he tries to gesture you back in because he wants to show you something in another book that he's been working on.
All right.
And he goes, I've been reading up on this spell term, really, really interesting stuff. Invocation to chaos. Blah, 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 blah. Look, point is, just watch this. And he sets his stance, and he's focusing on a point on the floor, and you see like this pink, crimson kind of fire start to form a circle on the floor, like with a what are they called? The pentagonal
Pentagram?
star?
Pentagram.
Yeah, hexagram forms in the middle, and like this fire starts to bubble up, and you see like this creepy clawed hand just kind of like slip out from this circle as it's forming, but then it just all disappears in a puff of smoke again. And he goes, trying to figure out this dang spell, but it says something about some amulet that accompanies it. It doesn't work by itself. I can't complete the tome. If you're gonna go investigating other chthonics, they might have this thing. And he turns the page, and there's this necklace, like this amulet that's really intricately drawn with like this massive red ruby in the middle, like almost impossibly large. That's kind of, and he's explaining that the spell won't work unless he has this item. So, and he goes, look, I know you've got a bit of an interest in powerful artifacts. This is one. We can find it. We can do some cool stuff.
Everett, you salty dog.
And like you know Everett's history. He's purely interested in this for the academia. He just wants to be able to do the spell because then he knows he's checking it off his bucket list. You know. So he just wants your help because he doesn't really want to leave the house to go and look for it himself.
Yeah.
So
I gotcha.
If you find it, come back. We'll cast the invocation. It'll be really amazing.
Listen, Everett. All right.
And he slaps you on the back. He winds up like it's going to be really hard, but he's not very strong. So just stand there and don't really notice. I knew I could rely on you, Jeb. Oh, that's why you really came. It's the fates have brought us back together. And his spirits are booned. You know, he's almost forgotten about the impending doom that's going to fall across every land and nation.
Well, yeah. If we're summoning clawed hands, we'll be fine. No problem.
So yeah, he's happy. He'll let you go now.
Good.
So you hear the door slam shut, and then all the doors lock again, and Everett's in his happy little bubble once more. Cool. So, where would the party like to go next? You had a couple of ideas. So, who's the most persuasive?
I think Gerard would
stats, I don't think
be
it-
pretty keen to check out this church at this point.
I think we're all on the same page here, actually.
Yeah, I don't see him thinking anything else would be more important or more useful.
Fair enough. I should have totally been like, before you leave, like, you hear the door reopen just before you get out of earshot, and he goes, "Hey, Bracho, any more of those cigarettes?"
This fucking guy.
What's that sound?
What are you hearing? Steve.
The spooky music that I've put on.
Is it the music?
I put
Yeah.
spooky.
Oh, I have
put
a missed
spooky
call.
background music on.
Shoot. No, that's not it. That's my
Sorry.
work phone. I actually have to call that back. I
Okay.
apologize.
Look, we'll try and push on slightly without you because we just had a break. So
Yeah, that's cool.
But
I
we'll
will.
fill you back in.
I'll mute myself.
Yeah, do that.
work call at this hour. Holy smokes. Okay, but yeah. So, would the three of you be in agreement? I mean, that's the next logical pursuit.
Let's do it.
So, just before we do that, though, just thinking, we talked about let's just summarize our options.
Yeah.
Let's just rehash what we've learned. So we've left Vincent. We've gone we've bought ourselves a day's worth of time to go learn as much as we can about the chthonics. Oh, he's not muted at all.
You're not muted, Steve.
Oh my god, Steph.
Wow.
You're not muted.
Dude. Can you mute him as a? Can you mute him as a?
I'll try.
But he's streaming.
Oh.
Did he mute for you guys?
Holy shit! How do I kill this stream?
No, he's muted now. He's muted now, I think. Or can you guys still hear him?
Isn't he? Hang on. Who's streaming?
Steve is.
Yes, I mean they can hear him.
No, I'm listening back to the stream. I muted him in Roll20.
Oh, he might have muted himself on OBS. Oh, so it's fine. Okay.
No, okay, so
Jeez.
it's just annoying to us.
So we just three idiots going like, he's not muted. He's Oh, dear God.
Okay.
All right. Look, it's fine.
It's fine. Look.
So can we still summarize our options while he's being noisy, though?
Sorry,
I
Yeah,
muted him, actually. Like, I can't hear
Oh,
him
yeah.
anymore.
Everyone just mute him on your own Roll20s.
I'm
Okay.
muted. All right, so back to that thing. Sorry, viewers. That was hilarious. Groovy.
Good times.
Yeah. It's like now I just want to do him on the phone. That grapefruit. I need you to get me 17 grapefruits. Yes, 17 of them. Yeah. Oh, is that what you want to do with it? Put it on a banana. Well, I've got a more interesting place to put it if you just No, sorry, I gotta stop him.
Oh, no. Very, very dirty improv.
Yeah. I'm
It's
so
audiences only. So
confused and aroused.
I'm so glad my children are going to grow up one day and go, what did Dad do while we were kids? Oh, I'm going to go watch back some of this stuff. What the hell is he talking about? Yes.
Yeah, that's gonna happen, actually.
Yeah. Anyway,
So summary is a good idea. So yeah, you
Hi-
know
hi.
about
hi, children from the past, Dad.
Bracho's kids.
Weird. Okay, that's like Stephen Hawking's, holding a party on Monday and only sending out the invites on Friday so that time travelers can come to the party on Monday. Totally a thing that he did, by the way.
Seriously?
Yeah, he hosted a party and only sent out invites after the party was had.
I fucking love that guy.
He's so good.
So, did anyone show up to the party?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, so he reckons he's disproved time travel.
Well, kind of stands to reason.
Hang on, proved or disproved?
Disproved.
But
As
what if no one wanted to go and that's the only issue?
That's probably, yeah. Who wouldn't want to go to Steve Hawking's time travel party?
I certainly would, because he sounds like a fucking riot.
Yeah. I like the fact that he doesn't want to upgrade the voice unit in his
It's so
speech
good.
synthesizer because his identity, he's attached to that as a part of his identity.
Absolutely, because he'd rather sound like this.
No, anyway, cool. So, llama. I'm actually gonna get like a printout of a llama so I can just be like,
Or just shake one on the map screen on Roll20.
Right. So the things we've learned, the things that have happened so far, just super quick, is we went back to Vin. Okay. we went back. I don't think that's on the production side of things, but that's all right. We went back to Vincent, and we told him, dude, the cultists. We killed them, but the cultists, come on. And he's like, cool, let's go clear them out of town. And Bracho was like, whoa, chill out. Let's go learn more about them first. Give us 3 days. Gerard's like, I know how to negotiate. We'll take 1. And and we've gone, and we're like, what do we want to do with our day head start? And we're like, yeah, let's go see Jeb's friend Ev. We go to see Ev. Ev's got this book, tells us about some crazy shit that's happening. So the options for the next, stop doing shit that's distracting. The options that we've got next wait, the things that have just happened. The mission for the amulet for Jeb.
Yep.
There's a side quest for Jeb.
Totally.
There's potentially people we can talk to who know about the papers moving, so we can try and investigate who the people are in the church that have come into town.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that feels like maybe something we should do before we go to the church.
Okay.
Is like get some names of some of these, the priesthood or whatever they might be,
Mm-hmm.
the culthood. I'm sure they don't call themselves a cult. They're probably
They're a
themselves-
church.
Yeah, so there's probably a priesthood or something.
But there's nothing inherently bad about a cult. Traditionally, I don't think. It's only in modern times that cult has become a derogatory term.
Well, in either event, look, they've got whatever they call themselves. It's unassuming.
Right. So I guess what I'm trying to say is we could go find out, like, do the thing and like investigate the people's names.
Mm-hmm.
So before we walk in, we can act like we know them.
Mm-hmm.
Have some of that intel. I still think, maybe in this session we could try and, get to the church. So what are our, like, Jeb? Were there any other options that we had?
No, I think that's sort of what we wanted to do.
I'm just making sure we're not missing something.
So, I mean, those are the main ones. Definitely, still the main pinnacle, I suppose. The main quest would definitely still be the church itself. I mean, if you're going to find out more solid information, it's probably from the horse's mouth. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot that's been going on in Darkvale, so it was an interesting idea from Bracho to dig through the papers and see if you can decipher maybe if there's something else untoward going on, any weird happenings with its population, etc. It's worth a shot.
Unless we want to set one of us up as a potential victim.
Wow.
Set a trap.
Another one.
How so?
To get someone in easily without requiring infiltration.
Depending on how they deal with you. Could be risky.
Could feel just right.
If you're into that kind of thing. If you're into a little bit of a look, let's not go there.
Fidelio.
Look, it's a dangerous option. But yeah, look, if you've also got the two
Robes.
So it's
that's right.
at least
only
initially
two.
it's less
So
dangerous.
who's the third guy? What's the third guy gonna
But
do?
there's nothing stopping Gerard just like walking into like the main room of the church and just sort of surveying the area. He's like with the local guard, ex-local guard, he'll command some respect and that sort of thing, I guess. And like you and I can sort of sneak in and yeah. Well, not even necessarily
up as sacrifice. Beautiful.
Not even necessarily as sneak around the back, but we could just walk through the front door all robed up, and as long as we knew some of the cultists' names, like the head honcho or two of those people, we could always say like, someone stops us, we're like, yeah, get out of my face, I'm here to see Simon,
Brother Quing Quing.
Simon. Oh god.
Or whatever the case may be. I don't know. I'm just thinking if we have some
Simon.
Look,
knowledge.
I like Simon.
If we have some knowledge up our sleeves, it could help us. Is there any other way we can prep for approaching the church though? Like, I'm not asking you. You're the GM. Chill out. I'm not expecting you to make this easy, but I'm just trying to think, Jeb, like in terms of it, even cloak and dagger approach. Like, what do we need leverage? What leverage should we bring?
We could go in with claiming to have knowledge of their missing brethren, not telling them exactly why they're missing.
Yeah. I'm assuming because the church has only popped up, it's only going to be a small group of cultists. So they're going to, they're either going to recognize straight up that who the fuck are these guys wearing, Bob and Simon's or Bob and Jeff's robes.
Yeah.
It's either that could happen.
We could claim to be from another chapter.
That's what I reckon, and that's why I was kind of like thinking maybe if we can somehow prove that there are other chapters before we do that, maybe. I don't know how to do that. Asking the refugees, that was the thing that's missing. We didn't do that. I feel like before we approach the church, which could be potentially very confrontationist, we should probably be armed with some greater knowledge.
And maybe some human blood.
I think we all have to unmute Steve.
Stav.
Do we have you back?
Hey.
I've just unmuted my mic on the stream.
Yeah, well, we could still hear you in Roll20, so we thought you forgot to mute yourself, but then we realized that you did it at an OBS level.
Oh, yeah, I did. Sorry.
But we could still hear you, and we all had to mute you individually.
Yeah.
But
apologize.
The team were just kind of summarizing the options, pressing forth, like just ideas for what to do next. So
yeah, but just kind of rehashing what's happened and just looking at what our options are. So
Okay.
Yes, I think the church is in our sights, and I think what we have established is Jeb's got a side quest of an amulet thing, which is pretty cool. There are a couple of things that we could do next. One is go back to your peoples and try and sift through some papers to find names in history and passports or whatever the case may be, the traveling papers for the church people, so the cultists. We could do that. We could go talk to the refugees in town, split up and go see if we can sift some knowledge out of the street to find out how far the church goes. Like, is there any evidence of the church being in other cities? Basically trying to find out how far spread the Chthonics are, I guess, because at the moment we only know that they're in Darkvale. I think that would probably help us. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, and doing that, sifting through the papers, maybe get the names of the characters who are in the church in Darkvale, so that we have some sort of we know what we're talking about, kind of leg to stand on. And then the thought was, well, when we maybe approach them,
Hello.
Little guy. Sorry. If we approach the church, the question is like, what are we going to try and do? Are we just going to go check it out? Are we just going to scope the joint, or are we going to try and have a conversation with the priesthood or something like that? And if we did, do we go in and like in the robes of their dead brethren?
From what I remember, we've only got one of them, right?
Two.
Oh, we got two. Okay, so I'd obviously be the odd one out, so I wouldn't even bother trying to go in.
Look, the team was saying you could go in because it's a church, right? They welcome visitors, but
True.
Yeah, you'd be going in as a visitor, supposedly, not necessarily a cultist, but you could be in the room, socially stealthed, I suppose.
That would be an option.
Yeah.
Just trying to think, because the papers option obviously will take time, and we've only got 24 hours before we have to report back to Vincent, and he mobilizes his force, which will obviously hamstring us even further. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it, but I feel like that is probably maybe the next step. I don't know. Like my thinking is time is of the essence, so we do what we can before they're all shipped off or killed in.
Well, let me put it this way.
fight.
If we don't go learn more about the stuff that's happening, like if we don't go for the papers and we don't go for the refugees and we go straight to the church, what are we trying to achieve?
Well, if it's part of the Church of the Chthonics, I'm assuming they would know what's going on just as much as any refugee would have heard.
I suppose we could ask them.
Yeah.
Are you in any other cities and stuff like that?
Yeah, like, you go straight to the source for the information.
Horse's mouth, baby.
Yeah, I
Like,
suppose.
you go to the refugees and you might get a convoluted Chinese whispers type. I think
That's racist.
I heard there's some in Devil's Crossing and like whatever is going on, but you go straight to the church and you can say, I've got people in other places. Do they have to come here, or can they join in a more local area?
Yeah, just be like, hey, I really want to join the Church of Chthon, but I'm actually leaving Darkvale. I'm moving in with my sister's family. Times are tough.
That's interesting though. Could we approach them and try and join the ranks somehow and go through some sort of bizarre initiation and then murder everyone?
Oh yes, I love where your head's at.
That then means you either go in without the robes, or you go in with the robes and try to fake what's going on to a certain level.
I think for narrative's sake, that cloak and dagger approach needs more research. Needs more leverage. Like, we need to go do that paper rustling. We need to go talk to the refugees. We need to go, pull up all of the information we can. So when we walk in and fake it, we gotta have something leg to stand on.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
why not just join the church as rookies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've got the Chthonics robes if we want to try and
It's so simple.
do something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah, change them from the inside somehow. Like, get into the ranks and try and be like, look, we want to do some nasty shit. We like the Church of Chthon. I know who Chthon is and stuff. He's a bad guy. I like that sort of thing.
No, he's a cool guy. He's talking about.
The only interesting point, if I can insert 2 cents, is that you are on a time crunch as well. So just bear that in mind. I don't know what I don't even know what the initiation rituals might be like if you want to join the church proper, instead of just being like a.
Well, I feel like if Jebediah did some of his occulting, yeah.
Okay, let me just roll up some occulting here real quick.
I feel like if he could show some sort of basic knowledge, they might rush him through, so to speak.
I have wasps.
That's true. Those wasps are freaking scary.
Yes.
Like, they've both.
What if there's totally a reason suddenly for me to scoop up some of the drunk's blood?
You already took some.
That's what I'm saying. So what if I can use it now? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, hey dog, see, I know what you're up to. I came pre-blooded. Let's do this.
This is just a sample of what I've got at home.
Yeah, dog.
Maybe.
You know it.
Maybe.
I feel like that. I don't know, because it is time consuming, most likely, some sort of initiation, but paper rustling will be just as, if not more, time consuming.
Absolutely. Going straight to the source here, straight to the snake's head.
To attempt to cut it off, or at least milk it at the fangs.
Yeah, let's milk the head.
Bracho is going to want to stab people in the eye when he walks into that church.
That's understandable.
There's that too. And there's also
Gerard
this
may just spontaneously combust with all the evil around him.
Look,
Jebediah may give birth. You never know.
Or at least need to change your pants.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's this. I guess there's just a risk reward you guys want to take. So the quicker you go, the more you might learn, but it's going to be more dangerous, most likely. Going in there faux stealth, as it were. You'll have stealth for a little while. You might be able to learn a little bit, and then they might catch on to you, or you might disguise yourself so brilliantly you get away with it. Would be probably the quickest way. And then there's these other methods which probably will be more drawn out. I don't know how you'll necessarily deal with with Vincent and his anti pants in the meantime as well, because you've got till like tomorrow afternoon to get something happening, or at least go back to him and convince him you need more time.
Well, let's go back to okay. So that's the point here. Is we were going to go back to Vincent and we are going to say this is what we've learned.
Yeah.
And so already, just having spoken to
one guy in like 2 hours.
One guy,
or whatever how long it was.
Couple hours trip. Yeah, we've discovered that there is a what do you call it? Like a line of investigation here that's leading us to ancient magics and this Ligurian, which, you know, in a way, like if our mission here is to try and prove that they're up to some even more nasty shit than murdering a couple of people in Darkvale, we've got that sniff of a clue. I don't know if going to the church is going to help us learn anything. In fact, they're probably going to be more protective of their true goal in the church, where they're trying to like recruit people so that they can sneak people out the back and murder them at some point in time. Or whatever.
Yeah.
So confronting them in the church or going to the church, it's going to be like, let's go check out what their facade looks like, because it's just a facade. Do you know what I mean?
Or
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with the robes is you could be posing as individuals who are already indoctrinated. You know, Simon and whoever else.
Garfunkel?
Garfunkel.
No. Look. Point is, you do have the robes of two initiates or acolytes. You know, two people who are already behind the veil, as it were.
Yeah.
So we could just waltz in there and be like, "Hey, you know who's really cool? That guy Logharian."
Oh. When Han and Luke get the stormtrooper uniforms and take
Yes.
Chewie in.
Yeah, aren't you a little short for a
Yeah.
Chthonic?
Yeah, exactly. So let's take Gerard in with a bag
I'm
on
not
his.
taking him in to get blooded. This is beautiful. This is like a culmination of all our ideas. I love it.
That's very interesting.
So we
Okay.
can take him in the back door. With like, you know, he's roped up and he's got a bag on his head, but we'll have to wait for nightfall or something.
Grab a
right?
grapefruit through the back door. We're good.
Hey, I mean, look, Gerard might need to know about this plan. Just quietly.
He'll be fine.
Does Gerard have like knives?
He has swords.
He's
Not
a
to say
swords
he-
guy, not a knife guy.
Not to say he couldn't take your knife that you took off the other dude, or Jeb, whoever took a knife.
Yeah, Jeb's got an extra dagger.
Because
Yeah.
we should totally like conceal some weapons on Gerard.
Because I do have a rapier, which is sort of a thinnish sword, I suppose. Maybe I could hide somewhere, but daggers would be preferable. Just from a purely concealment.
I'm loving this, by the way. This is good.
It's interesting. Look, I'll be honest. Most of what's happened tonight is nothing near what I had planned. So I'm really enjoying the piece. I've got to say.
As soon as the words Gerard to be blooded was said, like everything inside me just went cold.
Well, look, you're also a man of honor who would do anything to protect Darkvale, right?
That's my problem.
All right, so let me just double check here. What is our intention of sneaking in though? With like pretending to be cultists. We've got this guy. He's an ex-member of the guard. He knows too much. We're gonna come in and we. Oh, do we want to like? He knows too much, but we don't know what he fully knows. Let's take him to head honcho to like.
Be interrogated? Yes, because I
Yeah.
don't want to be blooded from the moment I step into the damn church.
No, look, I don't think we'll try and like. The thing is we've got to take. This is what I mean. What's the intention here? What's driving?
Yeah, I know.
We take him to get interrogated by whether it's the head honcho or just like the two IC.
Whoever's available at the time. Duty manager.
Yeah, the shift manager.
Which is, if we're going in the middle of the night, I don't know what peak hours for Chthons are.
I feel like that would be the middle of the night.
Yeah. So are we likely to get the
Head
actual
honcho.
boss if we go in the middle
I
of the
would
night
say
as opposed
we're-
to during the day?
We don't have the time to scope this out, right?
We don't.
So we can't.
Yeah, but
'Cause
I'd
we
say
don't
we're
wanna get
more
in
likely
there.
to run into them at night than we are during the day.
We don't want to get in there and find the goddamn pimply-faced shift manager.
You want fries with that?
Oh,
if we-
actually,
if-
I don't know what to do with informants. Let me call my supervisor.
And he just summons a pigeon.
Yeah. I'll have to check with my manager. If I had a girlfriend, she'd kill me. Straight out of my pay, mister. No. What I mean though is if there is a chump there, then easier to bag and tag, and we can just like have look at some of the books that are open on Head Honcho's desk. Like
Bag and tag.
we could do that if it's a chump, and if it's not, and it's some Head Honcho, we want to take him in and have the Head Honcho interrogate him. But
Yeah,
I guess that's or shit. I feel like maybe we should just go after the amulet. Inside the church, right? Inside the church, let's go look for the amulet. Let's take him in, and we'll parade him around, and we'll just like scope the joint out from behind the back of house.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. What amulet?
Your amulet that you're on the hunt for now.
Everett's request.
What amulet is that? Because I don't think anyone.
Bracho
I
wasn't
didn't
meant to
tell you
know.
about it.
Yeah, well picked up. Okay, so forget the amulet.
Good call.
Okay, fair
It's
enough.
hard to tell when Jeb's just being a smartass and when he's
Yeah.
actually like trying to reduce metagaming.
Yeah, good work, meta reducing Jeb. Okay, so
Way too
maybe
long for me,
the
mate.
intention is instead of having Gerard being interrogated, we just look like we're legit, and we've got this dude who's like a prisoner, and we're just gonna wander around and scope the thing out until we discover some rooms that we can like lock the door in and just sort of
Find the
rummage through.
princess. You jump down the garbage chute. I gotcha. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we'll find something when we're in there, but I feel like
You'll probably find Logorian in the garbage chute.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Look, it's not a great plan, but I'm on board.
We don't really have time to come up with a better one.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
I feel like I need to channel Danny Glover from Lethal Weapon and just go, I'm getting too old for this shit.
But if you're ever looking to do a Danny Glover impersonation and you don't know where to start, put in your mouth. He never said it, but he should have. Put in your mouth.
I don't know
Okay.
what's going on.
So, are we settled? Is that the plan? Loose as it may be.
I think so. I mean, Gerard wouldn't be thrilled, but at the end of the day, probably no better option at the moment.
Yeah, he's got to sack up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it.
Sure.
It sounds interesting.
Yeah, I mean, look, interesting. Yeah.
I guess we've got to be prepared for. Hang on, let's just talk about this really quickly. We've got to be prepared for being found out. And we're in the middle of the fucking nest,
Well, if you're going to be wearing big chthonic robes,
and we're level 1.
you could very easily hide my swords under your robes. So at the even if you don't use them, at least I can get them, assuming I don't die first.
It's fine that if we get found out, then the audience just finds out that
We're all
it's
dead.
revealed that we have a deeper plan, and the SWAT team comes in, but it's actually us. Meanwhile, we've got Brad Pitt and George Clooney on the sidelines ready to swoop in.
Maybe what we do is we get in cahoots with Vincent, and we say, look, we're gonna go do this thing.
There's a thought.
And get ready, get your dudes ready.
Legitimize it.
If we don't come out after 2 hours, come in.
Ooh.
Could do something like that.
Yeah, now we're starting to refine some shit here. I can get down with that.
Boom, headshot.
Yeah.
I feel like he'd be willing to go for that too, because we're well within the 24 hours.
Yeah. And
Like,
and
it's-
I can like
It's a solid lead.
I can shoot Lauren out as a signal to be like,
Yeah, like I won't make the noise of a caca. I'll make a shadow caca come out of my sleeves.
right? Like a bat out of hell flying out of the Church of Cthon.
That's
to be
groovy.
like,
Oh,
do
meatloaf.
it.
I love
Yeah.
you.
When the morning comes.
Okay.
His name was Robert Paulson.
His name was Robert Paulson.
Do we have enough information to proceed? I'm really liking this. I'm really enjoying this from my perspective, watching you guys try to unravel this.
As Meatloaf.
But I would also be interested in keeping it along just ever so slightly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, time is a ticking. Well,
But
no,
I
it's
think-
good. It's good to have
yeah,
some
I think
time
that's what.
to build a plan.
Yeah, I think that's what we should do.
And right now you're getting to like 3 p.m., 3:30 in the afternoon. You spend a bit of time at Everett's, having a bit of a chinwag and a bit of research. So exactly, I smoke
Guys, I understand. In death, a member of Project Mayhem has a name. Let's do this.
All right. So what's step
20
one?
points.
It sounded like step 1 was to
Go back to Vincent.
Vincent. Okay. So
Let's do that.
do you need to rehash the plan specifically for Vincent, or should I just intuit what Vincent might know?
I think we could probably skip through it if you want us to summarize it really quickly, though, in terms
Yeah,
of GM knowledge.
If you don't mind, could I try to make sure I'm on board? Just
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you paraphrase back to us.
From all that, I understand you want to get Vincent on board to kind of be the on-call, or Vincent and his guard to be the on-call chums, ready to pounce should this plan unravel itself. So, do you tell him anything of what you found out from Everett?
I think
yeah.
probably at least minor details. I don't know if you're telling the whole thing.
I think it was
we've got
vague
a
enough,
lead.
but I wouldn't
That's
have
true.
a problem doing so.
Yeah, it was pretty vague.
So we've got a lead and we want to like validate it, but we have to get inside the church to validate it, to get the evidence, because we've got a third party.
Oh, he's gone again.
That's all right. We'll just do the.
What are you doing?
Yeah, he said 1 sec.
Classic.
Might have just. Yeah. I think we just.
Sorry, I lost you guys.
You're right.
That's fine. You're back now.
Just saying, we got the lead from a third party, but we don't know for sure. Like we haven't got evidence, right?
That's fine.
So we're saying we're going to try and validate, get the evidence we have on our lead. We won't. I don't think we should tell them too much about the lead, but just suffice to say it's nasty shit.
You don't need to say too much, because once you explain you're going to be going after the church, like he's still on board because his interest is flashing them out. So
Yeah.
if you need him there as backup, he's okay with that. So, so yeah, he ensures that I assume Bracho and Jeb are going to robe up,
Yeah.
posing Gerard as a hostage,
Let's robe
or
up,
as
boys.
as a blood vessel, I suppose, blood
Yes.
bucket to give up in the name of Chthon.
Well, we wouldn't be explicit about the reason why he's being held captive.
Whatever you'd like to say. Yep. So you would say something to basically try and get a bit of a backdoor entrance into the church and have a bit of a ferret around, try and find out some information before you get busted and killed.
Let's make ourselves look like travelers, though, so that we have come from out of state, out of town.
Well, I mean,
How do you do that? Rub the thing in dust.
ropes are worn enough.
See,
Are they
look,
though?
Maybe
Might
like
be
a travel satchel.
bearing in mind they're expecting 3 people to come back. Does that make sense? Just bearing that in mind. You could still go for the out of town cell, but you'd probably assume they're expecting their brethren to return from investigating the hut.
And they probably recognize each other's faces.
Would-
Unless there's a no faces, no names policy amongst
Well, there
the
are
Church of
a couple
Cthon.
as well.
Please tell me that's a cheese knife.
Yeah.
Good.
It looks brutal. So yeah,
the world's smallest butcher's knife.
so yeah. Look, Gerard's on board, whatever your plan might be. I mean, you might unhatch that on the fly, but basically he just needs a time, and he will sort of post himself nearby with guards if available. But he's kind of taking it upon himself to be like the fourth guy in this mission, just to be nearby and will await. Is the signal going to be the crow? Is going to be Lauren specifically?
Yes.
So he'll wait for Lauren to burst out a window, which you'll know is he'll take that as a sign to come in on the offensive.
Question: how does the captain of the guard feel about an occultist's bird from the netherworlds?
I feel like we wouldn't actually explain that to him. We'd just say, he would just say, "What's the signal?"
Look,
you'll know when you see it.
He's also not stupid. Like, he kind of has a feeling about Jebediah, but the thing is, right, Everett's been living in the town fairly unharmed as far as you know. So, like, occultism is not like a celebrated study, but I mean, it's not strictly illegal right now. So
yeah,
he wouldn't be easy with it. But given the circumstances, he'll take a chaotic, neutral occultist over lawful evil right now.
I thought I was.
Are you chaotic good? Maybe.
I would have thought like lawful evil or chaotic neutral. I don't know.
I probably would have gone chaotic neutral.
The point is, you're less evil than the cult right now, so he'll work with you. So he's on board. I think I got that all more or less right.
Okay.
He really doesn't care what you want to do while you're in there. Like, his prerogative is still to flush them out. He's understanding the gravity of the situation, but
he'd need enough men to arrest them all, though.
Yeah,
he wouldn't just be there with like 1 or 2 chumps. He'd be like having his men on standby.
Probably pulls most of the men from Darkvale.
I don't know, how big's the church? How many brethren are there in the priesthood?
You could guess based on what you've seen.
That.
I guess what I'm saying is we don't need to know that, but Vincent does.
Yeah.
And Vincent would know that.
He'd bring the appropriate forces.
Yeah, he'd know the size of the church, so he'd probably estimate.
Bearing in mind, he doesn't want to blow you a cover. If he rounds up a dozen guards and puts them around the church, it's going to be pretty obvious. So
a couple of blocks away.
Yeah, well, look. Nevertheless, he doesn't want to make it too obvious. So he'll have the appropriate men if required, depending on what you guys find out. So yeah, he's on board.
He should pack flares.
Okay, sure. I don't know if he has any, but he'll find some.
This guy.
Cool. So when is it going to happen? Are you going to wait till night, or are you just going to kind of go now?
Oh, we can wait till night, I guess.
I feel like it's a slightly more appropriate time.
Yeah. The witching hour, so to speak.
I'd probably say, like, let's wait nearby and watch for... I mean, it's tricky, right? Because we want to, like, make a time with Vincent. I was going to say, it'd be cool to, like, just hang out and watch for a little while. Like, the 4 of us. And when we see some cultists leave, maybe. And if we don't see any leave, then we just go in. But if maybe we see some cultists leave, then we take that opportunity to go in.
Okay.
So there's less cultists. Maybe, I don't know.
Fair enough.
This guy
cool.
is cultists.
So are you going to do that, or are you just going to kind of wait till the cover of night?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we can do that if that's what people are into.
Yeah, I think so.
Wait, which one?
Let's have a mini stakeout. At least wait a couple of hours after nightfall, and see if there's, like, you know, like, let's watch sort of the back door of this building. Actually, do we know, like, from a meta level, do we know what the building is like?
Yeah, you know where it is. It's kind of just off center in the town square, as it were. It's like a reappropriated either store or maybe just a house. You know, it's a pretty boring building that they've kind of adopted and made their own. So yeah, there would probably be like a back door to a storeroom or something like that, most likely.
And a cellar, I dare say.
Yeah, potentially there could be. It depends on what it was. If it was a store, then yeah, but
a cellar that could lead to secret underground tunnels.
Ooh, clear that dungeon, baby.
Maybe.
You ride there, dog?
Yeah.
He's getting his spirit on.
The level of my spirit is solid.
What's your spirit level, bro?
Trojan.
Okay, so
I prefer Toledo brand.
Are you specifically going to scout out and just sort of stay within eyeball distance of the church and see what's going on?
Yeah, right. Let's stake it out.
Right. Does someone want to roll maybe
Perception.
notice?
Okay.
I can roll notice. I'm all down with notice.
Notice is the perception of
I
this.
can do notice as well.
All right. So I mean, one can roll help and the other can roll.
Hey Gerard, what's your notice like on a you know
Nominal notice scale.
on a nominal point scale? If you were to put a D in front of some numbers,
I
what
think
would
it's the same as you. It's D6.
Oh no, I'm a D10. So you
Oh,
roll
okay.
first to help me out.
Okay.
Help an old man out.
I'll see if I can help you out. I'm assuming 0 modifiers.
Mhm.
Woo! I can help you out.
Cool. So I think that's +2 because you got a raise on that. So
Yeah.
Sorry, Bracho take +2 on that roll.
Oh,
How did you still fail?
No, he passed, but he just as a crit
not
fail.
very well.
But he passed with a 5.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, you're just chilling out, sort of trying to look nondescript, I suppose. Maybe you're in a, I don't know, like a bar across the road, kind of looking out the window. I'm not sure. Attempting. Who's tapping? Very
Sorry.
loud. So you're attempting social stealth, etc., etc. What are you specifically looking for? Like, are you trying to count numbers? Are you trying to see like how many have come and go? Like,
I guess we're just looking for activity first of
Yeah,
all, and second of all, we're just trying to figure out if there's like a point at which a bunch of them leave.
Sure.
No,
Okay.
I'm looking. Hang on. I can't be involved in this, can I? Never mind.
Oh, well, what would you? I mean, we could have had a chat about what. to
Yeah, I
look
mean,
out
you
for.
can input as to what the role's for.
Numbers and demeanor.
Sure.
Yeah, I would have been mostly
'cause
numbers.
it's like what are they about? If they're being sociable and happy and they look like just a bunch of missionaries, that's one thing. But if they're kind of talking to each other under their breath and trying to look secretive, I'd like to know that.
Sure.
Mhm.
Well, on a 5, so you do pass. I mean, in terms of demeanor, it's nothing too untoward. That nothing too creepy stands out, I suppose, because you know that they're trying to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Nondescript. They're trying to be kind of intangible in terms of any nefarious. They're trying to be part of the town, really. They're trying to camouflage. There we go. So look, their demeanor's well enough. I mean, the doors have been open, and probably stay open until dark to allow, visitors to come in. And you probably estimate like 20 or 30 people have come and gone, just like for visits of varying length, just in the, I guess, couple of hours that you watch. So it's not super busy, but townsfolk are popping in and out. And from what you can, sorry.
Are robes people going in and out?
Yeah, so that you do see robed individuals coming in and out, the same as the robes you've taken from the cultists you destroyed earlier. They tend to travel in pairs, from what you can see, like leaving, coming and going. And you'd ballpark. I mean, they never leave en masse. Like, you never see like 10 of them leave at once. But you also, from what you can see, you don't see a huge mass ever come and go. So you'd ballpark maybe there's between, because it's hard to see faces from this distance. So you guess maybe there's between like 5 and 15, I suppose you'd guess roughly with that roll. So there's not a huge number in there, but they're not really leaving the church abandoned either by this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'd wait until there was some volume, roll a d4 to find out how many, some volume of them leave, and then I'd say, it's time to make our move.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you can try and sort of attempt it. Probably at the most you'd see like 3 or 4 leave. That's like the highest volume, like exit volume you'd observe of cloaked people. So that would probably be your best time to strike based on your observation.
Sure.
Can I just ask a quick? You can say no. You're not allowed to have this information if you like.
Mhm.
But what do the Chthonics think of other cultists? Do we know?
What do you mean, like
Probably.
other cults?
Yeah. People
Like, as
who are
in-
not in their own cult, but
Like someone like you, do you mean?
someone like me, someone like Jeb.
You wouldn't really know. I mean, unless you had specific dealings with them, You're kind of just like you're another piece of meat, really. I mean, if you adopt the church, your powers would be useful. But I mean, so is someone else who's just brainwashed by the teachings. So
I feel like I'm in a bar on a Friday night wearing something skimpy.
So I guess you've probably waited to maybe 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock until the moon starts to sort of creep up over the mountains.
Yeah, that sounds like a very ominous time to do this thing.
Yeah,
Feels right.
Yeah.
Nothing ever goes badly at the moon rising.
And at this point, they're not fully closed down, but they've like closed one of the doors. Like they've bolted one shut and one's kind of just like half open, just for like closing procedures, as far as you can tell.
Yes.
So yeah, what's the go?
Well, I guess
We
I'd swap
walk
out
in
my
the
swords
front
for
door.
daggers.
Sorry, I missed that.
I guess I would probably swap out my swords for the daggers
Yep.
as a good start, because I'd try and hide them somewhere. Maybe in my sock.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you can try and hide them on your person somewhere. Yeah. Fair enough.
I don't know. Like, where else would I feasibly hide them?
I don't think you have to get to the detail, just knowing that you've hidden them somewhere on
It's
the body.
hidden somewhere.
Nature's pocket.
Oh,
Hey!
ouch!
Gives the term sword swallower to a whole new level.
Yeah.
So, is it going to
Imagine
be
that one
like?
going wrong.
So look, you'd probably assume that the best course of action wouldn't be to take him in the front door because you know.
Wait a second. You're gonna...
Oh come on! I'm trying to be
Guys.
serious here.
Guys, seriously. Guys.
I know. I apologize. It was just
We try and play a serious role.
the timing.
Come on.
That's all.
Yeah,
Maybe
you wouldn't want to.
talking about taking him in the back door.
Yeah, you would. But like in all seriousness, that's probably a better method because the church is obviously trying to keep their true intentions concealed. So that rather than just bustling through the front, I mean, you could. They might be cranky, but you could try.
Let's put it around the back, maybe.
It doesn't make sense to take a prisoner through the front door where other townsfolk can see. So I was thinking we'd probably be watching, and then we'd probably would like, if we were going to get ready, like if we're going to don the robes and put a hessian sack over Gerard's head, we'd have to do it in the shadows somewhere in the laneway behind.
Yep, fair enough.
It's not like we're not doing it in the bar and then, all right, Gerard, time to put the sack on your head. Let's go.
Yes, that would not be the best move.
This is not a bachelor party.
So let's head around the back and you know make sure that we're not being seen, and get ready. And then I'd probably say like not right around the back of the building anyway. I'd probably say like down the alley, around the corner a little bit. So a few corners away at least.
Yep. Yeah, you'd find an appropriate place where you don't have to reveal yourself to the main drag, like the main street again. That's fine.
Yeah, and so we'd don the robes, we'd conceal the weapons, you know. Jeb's got a peg leg.
Yeah. So cool. I mean, yeah, you can make your way up doing your best chthonic impression.
Bracho would have spent some time in the hours watching and waiting and stuff, like just rehearsing some lines from the scripture book.
Oh yes, cool.
He'd just be able to like, off the top of his head, just you know, may the blood be with you or whatever the things.
Sure, that's fine. Yeah, that's cool. Fair enough.
With you.
Yeah, fantastic. So yeah, the back door does have like there is a back door on this building. It's just kind of a normal single door. Presumably to go into like a back storeroom or would have been something like that at the time. So yeah, you can head around there and knock on the door if you like, under the cover of night without too much problem.
Yep.
Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Do it.
All right, cool. So I guess you just rap on the door.
With his peg leg.
Cool. And it takes a little bit, but you do get an answer eventually. Just a very slow as the door opens, and you see someone with their hood down, but in the robes, peek around from the door, and is slightly startled by what he sees.
And
What's-
so
yeah.
Bracho just like recites one of the more recurring lines. You know, surely there's some sort of phrase that's recursive in in the scripture book, so he'll just
Almost like an amen.
yeah, or
Like a peace be with you.
may the blood be with you.
Hallelujah.
The
And he-
blooders.
And he repeats it in turn, but then he says, why have you brought... Who is this? Why have you brought them here?
I'm not talking at this point.
Nudge
so-
Bracho. Because my accent's probably going to give us away.
So Bracho says under his he tries to. He doesn't try to hide his voice or anything like that. He's just straight out. He says, fuck, I haven't thought about what he's going to say. He says, we have someone of interest who we wish to extract information from in one of our private rooms.
And just one sec, I need a name. Okay. And yes, still looking slightly panicked, he goes, you should know that you're supposed to take them to Herod if you wish to do that. But look, just come in before anyone sees. And he bustles you in into the back door.
Right, as we move through, I stay with him, with this chump, and I say, I need you to stand guard at the back door, and if you see anyone coming, run to the hut at the lake.
Ah, okay, brother Simon, I didn't recognize you. I'm sorry, because he hasn't got a real good look at your face yet. Because it's real.
It's dark, and the candles aren't lit.
And it's just there's like candles, but like in the far corner, like so it's not really casting a light. It's just casting shadow, really.
Yeah.
And he says, "Of course. Look, just put him there. Just put him there for now. You're in a storeroom, so there's other barrels and there's crates and just paraphernalia in the back. Probably some cloaks hanging on a code rack somewhere. Just set him there for now. We'll sort this out later. I'll just double check. Where you came from the hut. I'll trace your steps just to make sure everything's okay. And so he briefly leaves you to your business and just pops out the back door. So you're in a storeroom, based on the geometry of the building and the front and back entrance. You guess that there's just a storeroom and then the front, which they've appropriated as the church, and there's just a wall and a single door dividing the two. So you're in the smaller of the two rooms, and then the front would be just this big open area with some pews and stuff where they'd deliver the sermons.
Is there a second floor?
There is there's a trap door in the same corner where where those candles are, so it'd be easier to draw it. Yeah, there's a trapdoor going down. There'd be a second level of storage.
Jeb! So, is there anyone else in the room?
You can hear noise coming from the other room. Yeah, from the front room. So there's other church members. It's quiet. There's not the hum of conversation like there's townsfolk in there, but there is packing up kind of noises and what have you. It just sounds like there's other cultists.
Are there any windows?
Not in the storage room. In the front room there would be. You've seen them from the outside. Yeah.
All right, so there's no one in this room. So, Bracho, pulls the Gerard and Jeb close together, so we're almost standing in a very close triangle.
Yeah.
Should we lock the doors?
And now
Yes.
the back door is closed. The door dividing the two rooms is not completely open. It's kind of it's a jar, just
A jar.
Yeah.
Should we lock the doors?
Yes, let's lock the doors.
All right, I'll go back to the back door and lock it. You take the front door.
Okay. And then, how convincing did you make Gerard look? Did you actually bind his hands and stuff?
Yeah, his hands are bound and he's got a sack on his head.
Cool.
Yep,
All right.
bound as fuck.
So yeah, what now? Oh,
Let's
and
take-
sorry, I should mention, Gerard, you would recognize the name Herod. You might not have said anything yet, but you recognize the name Herod as the guy who runs the town's bathhouse.
Okay.
As a local man, you would recognize his name. So yeah,
That's how you deal with large volumes of blood. with a bathhouse that has lots of plumbing. Stop metagaming.
But also-
Bradshaw and Jeb wouldn't recognize the name at all, but Gerard definitely would.
What about all those fat, sweaty men going to the bathhouse? They've got to be full of blood.
They got lots of blood.
Yes, they're packed full of blood.
So yeah, look, you've temporarily got a reprieve, I suppose. You would ensure you don't have too long. I mean, your buddy that you just kicked out the back won't be gone for an extended period of time.
So, well, he's got to get to the lake and back. Is that what you said he was going to do? I don't know.
He's going to like just double check no one's followed you, kind of thing. He's covering your tracks and making sure that no one got wise to what you were doing.
Trace the steps.
Yeah. So he's not going all the way down.
He might have a key as well.
Does that mean that he'll be nabbed by Vincent, or he'll just be left to...
I assume Vincent's
walk
like out the front
unmolested?
somewhere, like within eyeshot. I don't know. Where have you asked Vincent to stay?
I would have assumed near the... probably more with a view from the front, but you wouldn't leave a back door unchecked in a situation like this.
Yeah, I'm happy to... We didn't specify, so if you want to retcon that and say he's trying to hide out the back somewhere, that's fine.
I'd say he'd be watching where our entrance point, and he'd have a couple of dudes sort of,
At the other
ready.
doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if he's watching that back door, does he then nab this guy while they can? Or do they just let him...
Wasn't part of the
Right.
plan. But I suppose if he comes back, if the chump comes back and the door's locked and he starts causing a scene,
So do we just risk that, or do we hope that Vincent's nabbed him?
well, like I said, I think we said the plan was when Jeb,
The
Does
signal,
the
so
crow.
he wouldn't take him. So
yeah,
so we need to... Well,
Yeah.
be quick. So let's be
specifically,
quick.
you need to be quick, because I'm bound and sacked.
And probably gagged too.
I was thinking that.
You're loving this, aren't you, Stevens? This is right up your alley. Point being, I'll do a quick notice. Like I'll look the room over for anything that looks like a ledger, or anything that looks like scrolls, or anything that looks like it's sort of not meant for anyone's eyes.
Okay.
I'm gonna do the radical thing and open the trap door.
Okay. Cool. So we got a couple... Oh, wait, you don't have to roll anything real. Actually, Bracho, you want to do your notice roll first?
Oh shit! Wait.
Yep.
Wait.
Any modifiers?
Get noticed.
No, you got a Hessian sack on your head, bro.
I had to produce.
Oh.
I mean, I can try to help.
Look, it does to me. I was thinking about this before. It doesn't make sense to help on a notice roll.
It depends on the situation. If you're like feeding information to each other, it might.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
hey,
if you're
look
both
around.
scoping something out, like you point out things to each
But
other.
if Jeb's going to open... If this is
Alright,
happening
fair enough.
simultaneously, Jeb
Yeah,
won't
let's
help.
do it simultaneously.
Yeah. Look, if anything, it's a bit dark in here, and like it just looks like a storage room. So probably -1 on this roll.
That's so dank.
Look, it's actually not. It's actually not that punishing, but. Ooh, did you
It's pretty
you want
dank.
to stick with that or re-roll it? You've still got 2 bennies, I think.
I got 3 bennies because I was on 4 bennies last.
Oh, okay. Well, it would have reset, but you've still got bennies. That's fine.
No, you said last week that. Okay,
It's fine. You've got bennies. You can still roll bennies if you want to try again.
I've somehow got 31. No, so I'll go down to 2 bennies.
Yeah. Cool.
And I'll re-roll. Come on.
Is it lagging? Ah, cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
6.
So
6.
standard success. So, like I said, there's not a heap back here. There's not a whole stack of stuff because it's really just a storage room.
I could notice that there's nothing of worth noticing.
Well, I mean, you'd intuit that the good stuff's probably like in terms of scripture and big knowledge might be behind the altar or something like that. That there might be a book you can read maybe, but it's kind of under guard right now. Maybe you do find like a map on the wall that's just pinned up, and it's kind of like the map we can see here, and it's kind of just got crosses. Like there's one here, like over Darkvale on the map, and there's a couple other crosses like spotted about where you probably know from your travels are like other villages and towns up and down this part of the land.
I look for my forest, my village.
Nothing specific there that you can see. Ostensibly, there seems to be specific, like, populous areas in this region that they're marking off as either places they've been to or places they are planning to go or places that they're currently set up.
Okay.
It's something to that effect. Jeb, I would... Can you roll stealth for me?
Oh fuck. Okay.
Have you got stealth trained?
Not at all.
I'll give
Dude,
you-
I got a pig leg.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's stealth for the trapdoor because something might happen. But roll it at. Just roll it flat.
Okay. You? Oh fuck.
Ooh. Okay. So look, nothing immediately happens. But as you open it, it actually creaks a bit. So you get a bit of a, which pierces the silence in this room, and you probably turn around in a panic, just to see if there's anything going on.
Totally.
On opening it, it's pretty dark down there, but you do get like a bit of a waft of, like, just damp and like decay, and it smells a little bit off. Like it smells a bit like the hut from earlier.
Is there mayhaps a whiff of iron in the air?
Iron.
Iron.
That's what's in blood. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Where is? And there was a candelabra or something that.
Yeah, in the corner, in a corner, like near where Jeb is right now.
So once he's opened it and I've finished looking at the map and things and whatever, I'll grab the candles and bring it over to him.
Okay.
So I've got like a stick of candles or something, and I'll hand them to Jeb.
Sure. So
I
you
will
try-
take them.
Yeah. And then.
Well, I mean, do you want to like head into this trapdoor?
Yeah, let's go. Well, it's 11 p.m. Should we call the session in 5 minutes or something like that? Do we need to get to our cliffhanger for the night?
Maybe. We're kind of at a bit of a like.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Oh God. How? So
You
probably
mean
the
walking
first thing
into a really dark, bad-smelling trap door isn't a cliffhanger?
Yeah, kind of. But then,
Like
but at the same time, there's
There's got to
probably
be
just
a hint of something.
well, as
okay.
you're descending into the cellar,
I'll
you
follow
hear the.
right behind him, by the way. I'll follow right behind
Yep.
him.
What are you doing with Gerard?
You're leaving me up here like a piece of meat.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Okay. Well, as you
Sorry, buddy.
start to descend, probably just as Bracho's head's starting to make its way down into the next level, you hear the rattling of the back door.
Wait. I would bring Gerard, like, by, a thread or a piece of rope. I'd like, say, so he's following us down.
Okay, sure. I won't like penalize Gerard for trying to climb down a set of stairs. That's fine. Or would it be
Bound.
stairs? No, it'd be a ladder probably.
Oh,
Right.
well, I wouldn't take him down the set of stairs if it's a ladder then.
My hands are bound.
A trapdoor from inside would probably go straight down, wouldn't it?
Not always.
I don't know. Up to you, man. You're
Most
the GM.
likely, yes. But
Whatever.
not
It
always.
doesn't look either way. You can get him down there safely enough without too much fuss.
Dude,
That's
if
fine.
we can get me down and I got a pig leg,
I also have a dodgy leg, remember?
yeah, but at least you got a foot.
It's true.
Two. Got two.
Yeah. In any event, you hear a bit like the shaking of the back door because whoever left wasn't expecting it to be locked when they came back.
He's rolling something.
And it sounds a little panicked. Like it's not just like someone who tries the door and then realizes it's locked and then goes for the key. It's someone who goes for the door, realizes it's locked, and then shakes it a whole bunch more times because it's like, I really need to get in this house right now. So someone's a bit, presumably that occultist guy is a bit worried and wants to get back in his house. And I guess that maybe then you hear the footsteps for a good cliffhanger. Then you hear the footsteps as well, like coming from the front, the other room, coming around to the door because they're going to try and let their. Did you lock both doors?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then you hear that door starting to rattle as well, and maybe the cliffhanger is just like a key going in and like, and you just hear that of the door starting to unlock as you guys descend to close the trap door behind you.
We're in a room that has one way out, and we're in the middle of the nest. What the hell have we done?
We
It's
are
gonna-
paid, buddy,
It's going to be interesting.
with
And
a blindfolded man.
I suppose that's
The
it,
best
really.
hand-to-hand fighter in the group.
That's right. We've got an old man with dreads who's probably high on something. We've got a guy with one leg who is totally delusional and has a spectral raven fluttering around. And our only capable warrior is bound and gagged.
With a sack over his head, and he's not having his main
Yes.
weapons on hand.
Yes. It's beautiful.
Getting Lauren out as a signal now might prove a little more difficult.
Look, she's been in worse situations.
Is Lauren part mole? Just dig through.
She's part fucking awesome, so
I forgot to say this earlier, Kluger, but I set up an intricate series of mirrors.
Oh gosh.
I actually spent the past week mining out an escape route.
With spoons.
Cool.
That's cool. And that's a wrap.
Cool.
Probably.
It's hot.
I really want to keep playing, man.
I'm gonna die. So
Yeah, I'm exhausted.
yeah. Mate.
Fine. Well,
Fine.
look, that was still a good session, like I
That
said.
was good. I enjoyed
If
it.
you saw my notes and what I had set up, almost zero of that actually happened. But that's fine. That's the life of a GM. That's all good.
And are you at liberty to tell us vaguely what you did have planned?
I thought with about 80% certainty that you would just straight up throw down with the Chthonics in the church.
All right.
You would just go for them. Like
Yeah.
that was my mentality.
If Joe was still here, we probably would have.
The thing is, like, I don't want to give away too much at a meta level, but Vincent was basically like, "Come with me to kill all the guys," and he would be an active participant as an NPC for the good team.
That'd
Yeah.
be pretty cool.
So he would have been like,
So we've done ourselves a disservice by
Telling him to wait outside.
well, you got a bit
looking
unlucky
for
with the
the
roll
raven.
because that was basically like a notice roll to see what's been going on, like, or how panicked this guy would be upon like. It's like, hang on, Simon didn't sound like that, or some shit like that. Something was off, and he's just realized, and he's come back. So you might have a little bit of time on your hands to try and find some more stuff, but you at least do know that the Chthonics are more than just localized to Dark Vale for sure.
Yeah.
So you've already found information. You just maybe need to get out.
Yeah. That's a real issue.
So yeah, I mean that was.
the information we found.
You saw that map on the wall that was like that had other villages checked off,
Yeah.
which strongly insinuated that the Chthonics are elsewhere, or have been elsewhere, or are planning to go elsewhere. They're not just here, basically. They've got their wings spread pretty far.
Yeah. Okay. So that answers one of the questions we had. But in terms of like finding evidence of, you know what I mean, of the ancient stuff and the big scary like shit. Because who cares if a business is in or a church is in 15 locations? Like that's not damning information. So
True.
I guess
It's kind of damning.
not really.
This murder cult's in like dozens of locations across the land.
It's coincidental though. Like it's a map with crosses on it. It's
Coming to a store near you.
But I mean, you're not done yet either. There's still time. Time.
Yeah. I get the feeling that Bracho would be wanting to see some sort of evidence of the ancient shit.
You want to get more information about what this creature actually is, by the sounds of it, right?
Whether it's information or whether it's like, some like a copy of some summoning rituals or instructions, and say take the 15 gallons of blood to Fort Knox and deposit it and
Have 3
like,
parts
do you know what I mean?
blood,
That's the sort of
2
thing. That's
parts
the sort of
water.
thing. That's the sort of thing he was looking for before.
Yep.
Shake thoroughly.
He was trying to look for some sort of evidence that sort of could be said that chthonics are a plague against the Empire, not just the dark there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Add cream.
We're certainly getting there. A better notice roll might have got you some more information. But look, you're by no means done yet. We're still unveiling that curtain.
Sorry, we didn't notice hard enough.
Or a better stealth roll means you would have had more time to poke around without being under duress. But that's cool.
Yeah.
Look,
Jeb.
Worst comes to worst, if you have to kill everyone and then look around the church, I mean that's viable too.
And then Vincent walks in, and I'm just standing there. He's got a little out of hand. Or even better yet, it happened again.
Did you bring the grapefruit? No. All right, that's groovy.
All right.
Any final thoughts, wisdom, or should we just sign it off?
I think it's probably about time to sign it off. I think we've covered enough.
I think so. So I guess that's it. All social media links that are applicable down below. R4PGD if you want to talk about this session to us on Twitter.
Twitter.
Discord as well down below if you want to come over chat during the week. Otherwise, we'll catch you next week, hopefully, for more Nova Terra, I think.
Yeah.
Solid. There we go. That's a wrap. Have a good day or evening or whatever, depending on time zones, everyone.
Sounds good. Bye,
Peace.
everyone.